There we go. Hey everyone, I guess hey Chris Gray. This is session 2 of 3 of the Great American Novel, using In the Flesh as a TV series we're using to inform our genre slash like novel slash TV show that we're making. Um, I'm Lauren. I go by she, her pronouns. Alex.
I'm Alex. I go by they, them.
And Barry.
I'm Barry. I use he, him.
Ryan.
I'm Ryan. I use he, him.
And Sarah.
Sarah, she, her.
Excellent. These plays were all returning from last time. They're all fantastic, and I love all of them dearly, and I can't wait to get into some In the Flesh with them. Cool. So before we kick off into our story, I thought I would just talk about some of the, just like, I guess like the three main mechanics slash rules to keep in mind as we're playing this game. The first I want to highlight comes straight from the Great American Novel text, which is this game can go on indefinitely without having to consult a rule. So please feel free to take your time with scenes, have color scenes, converse with like fellow player characters, non-player characters, get a sense for like, yeah, how those relationships work, what your characters want, and why there's no rush to get to conflict. However, if a scene gets to a point, or you would like to just flat up call a scene based around a conflict, there are 3 ways you can trigger a conflict in a scene. The first way is relying upon a setting conflict. These are the ones on the character keeper there on the first page on column H. We have local politics and murder. It's my job to like introduce these as like, hey, these are things you can totally look into if you want them. It's like color slash narration. But if you would like to like really hit on a setting conflict, feel free to do so. The one catch with it is it can only be hit on once per chapter by anyone. So like as soon as anyone decides to set a scene around a setting conflict, it is tapped out for the rest of the chapter. What you can do in spite of that is have conversations around the conflict, like color narration around the conflict, act toward that conflict. You just can't like mechanically use it. So as soon as someone has like mechanically said, I want to use like a murder in the scene, then that's it for the chapter. But feel free to obviously, like if someone does die or if there is local politics or something, you can still like you can still talk about it. Alternatively, you can use a character conflict, which when we have one of these from the last session, to use a character conflict in a scene, you can hit upon one already in play. So for example, Barry, actually we didn't write that down, did we? Get a job from, her name was Lucy, right? Let's say Lucy. So like get a job from like Lucy was get a job Lucy, that's wrong. Get a job from Lucy. Yeah, so get a job from a Lucy was like a character conflict that Eddie had last time. So for I guess anyone really can hit upon that conflict if they want to in a scene. All you have to do is like say, I want to use this conflict, and then we'll go to the dice, and depending upon the dice results, the player will get to narrate like how that resolves, or I'll get to narrate how that goes depending upon the outcome. You can otherwise create a new conflict. To create a new conflict, you can spend a plot point, describe the conflict as like a small sentence, like get a job from Lucy. Narrate like what that looks like in the fiction, and then we go to the dice. And much the same, dice will tell you what the outcome is. Either you'll narrate it or I'll narrate it. And then the scene will continue or conclude whatever feels appropriate for that scene. The last thing one can do is accept a conflict. And this is when I, the novelist, say, hey, I will totally give you a plot point if you let this nasty negative thing happen to your character. If you say yes, we establish that conflict. You still go to the dice to see what the outcome is. However, the novelist keeps narrative control no matter the outcome, as far as I understand. So even if you get a 10 plus, if you've accepted a conflict from myself, you're at the novelist's mercy in that sense. And it probably will not go well. As far as I understand, I'll check it with Chris Gray if that is correct later, but that is how I understand the rules. There is on that conflict sheet, I've just like also included narrating the outcome there on a 7 plus, 10 plus, 6 minus. A nice little example. And then the third thing I wanted to say after, please feel free to indulge in scenes, but also turn to conflict when it feels necessary, is just to recap on arc switching again, because I found that quite confusing when I first played, which is you'll notice on your moves sheet that's blocked into like sort of rising, like flat and falling. If you are, let me pull up the character sheet. If you're if you have like +1 arc, you're rising, or plus whatever arc you're rising. If you're at negative arc, you're falling, which is dictated by this little so it's like rows 3 and 4 of like the character sheet with like the +1 to 4, -1 to 4. Say for example, I think Eddie, right, has negative. So like, so Eddie has like -1 arc presently. If Eddie goes to resolve a conflict and is like, you know what, no, I want to use a rising move, you can claim that you're arc switching, use a rising move, so like in the Eddie's case, protect someone, protect yourself, befriend, or make a moral stand. He can do that. As a result, he'll A, get a plot point, and then B, will be able to go to +1 arc instead of -1 arc. So now you're like rising, and this is like a story of presumably redemption. The same exists for the other way around. If you're rising and your character's going through like a, yeah, I'm a good protagonist plot arc, you can choose to switch arc and lash out, be violent, cruel, like whatever. Same result will happen. You'll go to a -1 arc rather than like a positive arc, and it's always a -1 arc or a +1 arc for arc switching, regardless of like how you could have +4 arc and it will still go to -1 arc. Just that stuff makes sense. If not, that's okay. We can talk through it again. It's again a very crunchy story game, which is so good. Cool. So that's enough of me talking. I will briefly narrate as much as I can remember the plot so
I
far.
got a quick question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
What's the point of like getting a 4 arc? Does anything good happen? Do you win the game?
I don't know. presumably the higher arc you are, the less likely you are to fall. So if you get a -6 result on a move, you're gonna stay up there. You don't get any mechanical cookies for +4 arc, apart from feeling good about yourself because you're a protagonist.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm an idiot. There is some. Regardless of like your positive arc or negative arc, at the end of the game, if you have any positive arc, you get like a positive, like a protagonist's ending. If you have any negative arc, you get like a villain ending. So that's like the place you're aiming to hit for, depending upon what you would like your story to be. That was a good question. Other questions?
I guess like there's no obligation to act in a certain way if you're rising and falling.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you have -1 or -4, you still get the villain's ending.
I believe so, yeah. I'm not sure if like the severity ranks up. What am I looking for? Yeah, like crank. I'm not sure if the severity cranks up. I'll double check that, but I think yeah, it's very binary in the sense that I think -1 to -4 you're gonna have some ability ending. +1 to +4 some protagonisty ending, which yeah, I think as Ryan and I found out can lead to some interesting places where like you stop redeeming yourself toward the end, but you still get a villain ending. But I will double check on like the I guess like severity of that continuum. Oh, but yes, that reminded me. If you're rising, you can use flat moves plus rising. If you're falling, you can use like flat moves plus falling. So you're not obligated to like act in a falling way unless you choose to do so. You can stay on like the somewhat neutrally worded flat moves.
And you can also just choose to switch over
Yeah, you can
to the
totally
opposite whenever you want. Okay.
You totally can. I get to narrate what that looks like. Yeah. And again, you get plot points for doing that. So there's like some mechanical incentive to flip flop through your arcs, I guess. Because yeah, you always have. I think what I like about that is you always have control over like, oh crap, I failed that roll and now I'm falling, but I'm in control of like, nope, I'm rising now. I think it's kind of neat.
One more question.
Yes.
What is this favor thing talked about? Like enrolling against an NPC? It's like get favor if an antagonist, blah blah blah.
That is a good question. Where is it on the thing?
That's just
if rolling
advantage
against
or
the PC.
disadvantage.
Oh,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. Thanks, Ryan. I'm so glad Ryan's here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I was going, I remember this because I asked, because I couldn't figure it out.
No, I thank you so much for jumping in. That is one thing I forgot to revise when I was going through the notes. Yes, that is disadvantage. Advantage is if you're acting like with a protagonist, you get advantage. If you're fucking over a protagonist, you get disadvantage. Then vice versa for like if you have an antagonist. Acting against an antagonist, you get advantage. If you're trying to help out an antagonist, you get disadvantage. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, actually, funny you mentioned that, Barry. Tapping is also like a TM like Wizards trademark, and I noticed tapping is used in this text. So maybe I should also write Chris Gray that. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did like get like IPTM over tapping. So yeah, I learned that recently. Anyway, other questions? These are all good questions.
I have a question about protagonists and antagonists.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether that happens with NPCs or if that's only a PC thing.
That is a good question. Do you remember Ryan? I don't recall if we.
I think it only came up with PCs, but I don't know if it can include NPCs or not.
Let's say that it does.
I mean, our only NPCs were a corpse and the sheriff whose stuff we were trying to steal, so it didn't really come up.
Yeah.
It says something about the antag. It's only under if rolling against a PC, so that I guess would make sense. I was thinking about the stuff with Lucy at the end of the last session. I didn't know if that would like establish an antagonist relationship.
Yeah. I'm just double checking. Text. That's all defining protagonists. Oh, I was like, why are all these words the same? I was like, I'm looking, cycling through the playbooks, and there are so many playbooks. It's far as I can see, it only talks about protagonism and antagonism in relation to novel characters.
Okay, I figured out ask, so thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for checking. Yeah. I guess perhaps the intent is like you keep the protagonism, antagonism like player facing rather than to like incentivize sort of character drama within players. I wonder if that's the intent. Awesome. Other questions? We could just ask questions about it. Great record double for 4 hours. That's totally fine. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Well, I'll do a quick recap. We'll do some scenes and cold break in we'll see, we go half an hour, 40 minutes. So as I recall from last session, we got a really good montage of everyone's characters arriving to Nuneaton. And we more or less just got a taste of like the pub scene, where Eddie tried to get a job from Lucy, and Lucy said, "Hey, it's very rich you coming in here asking for a job from us when you're super new. You gotta like sort of prove yourself first if you're going to get a job here at this pub. Any respectable sorts around here." We saw what was James. We saw James try to reach out to Connor with the help of Liam, and there was a bit of confusion around like who was into who, what was going to happen at like the festival that was coming up, going as a group date.
Thomas, do you mean?
Oh, Thomas, yeah.
I think James was someone's dad.
Oh yeah, James is the dad. Sorry, there are so many good rural British, like Anglican Christian names in this game so far. Thomas, yes, it was Kishran, and he was into who taking Connor to the fete and then going as a group thing. And we had good old we had Ash. He was having a good old drink, trying to make some friends in the pub. Convinced Connor to do some drinking, and then we ended on like a scene of Eddie protesting in the pub very explosively. I think that's what I remember from the first chapter of this novel. Oh, yes. Before I forget, everyone gets +1 plot point because we are now in chapter 2. I will remind everyone that for chapter 2 is the meeting. The story's ordeal is presented, and the characters seek advice and gather what is needed to confront it. Until a character will cross the threshold. So when a character crosses the threshold, whatever that looks like in our fiction, I think it's open to our interpretation. We'll move to chapter 3. Well, how about... Oh, and then our conflict settings are, again, like murder and local politics. What we might do is... So with that in mind, how about everyone write down their motivation for this chapter on their character sheet? And again, this motivation does not have a mechanical benefit as far as I could read, but should be like a driving force for your character in this chapter. It can be quite mundane to like, I want to find my keys, or I want to ask so-and-so out on a date, or it can be like, I want to get a job from Lucy, or I want to whatever your character wants. Oh yeah, if this is a collaborative game, so if you want to write his room, please feel free to speak up. If you've got something in mind that you just know your character wants, write it down. Floor is open. But it sounds like Barry, you have a thing. Do you have a thing to propose for our writers' room?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about where where we kind of like started with Eddie and Ash, and I wanted to ask Alex, I guess, if you think like for like a romantic arc with Eddie and Ash, or if you don't see that as being like a thing, because I don't want to try and build to that unless you're into it.
I mean, it's a tough call because I am totally into it, but I also wanted to hit some family drama this time. So I was thinking I might make Ash's motivation more about like getting the family back together and then failing horribly.
I can make a suggestion, which is we have a fucking long time to play this game. So, so my suggestion would be, it totally makes sense if we want to see an arc where Ash focuses on family drama for this chapter. Meanwhile, Eddie pursues like perhaps like the beginning blossoming of like a romantic arc with Ash. That if we can, probably that is my suggestion. But I am not God. I am just the editor of this novel.
Potato, potato,
cool.
right?
Cool. I wish I could be on camera. I hate this. Yeah, cool. I think what I'm going to do then is I'm probably going to do some of the same. I think I'm going to lean into family stuff for this chapter, since I'm probably causing some problems for old James, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent. I just saw a thing in chat about pre-suggested chapter motivations for each character. I kind of lied. They are very freeform. There's nothing like set in stone. But I just noticed that each playbook has suggested motivations. If that would be helpful. So, for example, for Liam, who is the conflicted right fighter. The conflicted right fighter's fundamental motivation is to do the right thing. When crafting motivations for the chapter, think about what tangible thing you can do to course correct or to bring things back to a moral center. Do you need to sacrifice something, help someone to see the light, or right or wrong? The best motivations are those that compel you to confront conflicts and resolve them with your moral character. And is this helpful? Would people appreciate all this? This is from the game text, so it's definitely. But actually, what I can do, because I have the internet and Google stuff, is I will at the bottom of this identify conflict sheet, copy and paste the motivations for people just so they're handy. And we also have Alex, who the courageous youth.
I am indeed.
Excellent. I will whack courageous youth motivations there. And we have the naive outsider, who is there now. And we have the regretful soldier. There we go. Hopefully that helps. And again, feel
Where
free
are
to.
these? Sorry.
Oh, so they're in the identified conflict document. I can get the link if you need it. It's at the bottom on page 2. And yes, feel free to writer's room. If you have an idea but want to take it with someone else, that's totally cool. Alex, I just say you're make a friend. Green tick rainbow 100%.
I'm struggling a little bit because of the things that I'm thinking are like much more James than Eddie right this second.
No problem. I think that makes a lot of sense. Feel free to. I'm an out loud thinker, so feel free to think out loud if that would help.
Well, like where I'm thinking is like I've got some immediate. I've made some immediate bad impressions, and I guess I want to figure out a way that I can make like some kind of decent impression of like the city folk, such as it is. Just I'm not quite sure where to connect that to.
Yeah, I want some suggestions. So like because it is a very like rural town, I could see like can I like make it like go to church or like make a good impression on like an influential person in the town, like maybe someone from the parish, or like reconnect with your family here, like to help.
I think that church is a great idea. I love that.
Excellent. Yeah.
So that the two first places that Eddie goes on screen are the bar and church, which are probably like a significant part of the social fabric of Clayton.
Exactly. Yeah. And oh yes, I can't wait to see what impression you make at church.
So the original like transition from chapter 1 to chapter 2 was this like 3-person date to the fair, right?
Yeah.
It was
that
the
mean-
entire group.
Does that mean like we should base our motivations around what happens at the fairground?
I'm inclined to say yes, if that's interesting. I'm thinking it very much in terms of good society, where I'm like, there's always like the chapter scene where you sit it at like the ball or like a picnic and everyone is there, which is like really convenient. So if you, I feel like the fair is going to happen. We can do it this chapter if that feels appropriate. I think we can. There's also a bit more flexibility in terms of like time skipping or like scene jumping. So there's no pressure to do everything at the same time. Does that help at all? I feel like that may make things confusing. But if you like to center a motivation around the fair, I mean, we can call scenes around the fair and go to the fair. It'll be super fun.
I'm down for a fair ride.
I have another question about the chapter structure.
Yes.
Like I have a degree of familiarity with like the Joseph Campbell monomyth stuff that we're looking at with like the refusing the call, whatever. Is there like I don't know. Like one of the things that this says is an inciting incident propels the characters toward the main conflict of the story, and a character will refuse the calls. So I don't know if that's a conflict that we are like the stage for at this time, or question mark.
Yeah. Well, I think, oh, like for a bit of clarity, what I was going to kick off everything with like some very like sort of episode 2 foreshadowing, establishing shots of like some of the conflict that's going to come up. And I think like if it helps, because communicating and collaborating is important, introducing elements of like the I realized the ULA, like the what is their full title? The the Undid Liberation Army. I thought they would have more of a presence in this chapter, as part of like sort of local politics, and the effect that will have like on like the parish and the local council. So instead of just like bringing in that thread, so we'll probably see a bit of like the ULA and potentially like the HVF also, actually, come to think of it.
Cool.
How are people going for renovations?
I have go to church, but I'm not sure if get thrown out of church is a better motivation.
I guess like what I find is sorry, let me roll back. In the Great American Novel, the question is always like, why do you want to do a thing? So it's like if you've got a good like, why does my character want to do that? That feels like compelling for what my character is feeling and driving them. Then yeah, totally thrown out of church. If your character's feeling like, yeah, I really want to integrate properly and like really try and make a life for myself here, and not even perhaps like become a good verb with church, like a better acquainted or like established, or a member of, or right, make connections within the church, or
Okay, so like meta concerns are like ill suited for the motivation box.
uh
So like
yeah,
if if I blow a conflict there and that happens, then like lovely, but that shouldn't be the way for the motivation. Okay, cool.
yeah, and I think that comes from like the character conflicts are going to be really rooted in your motivations for this chapter, and a lot of it is like either myself or the other players or yourself as the novel like character player setting up conflicts that um frustrate or complicate like your motivations. Like I see, like we have feed cat as a motivation, and it's like what are going to be some interesting scenes that like potentially make feeding your cat complicated, like which I'm sure there will definitely be a lot. I think feeding your cat is like such an amazing motivation. I also think, you know what, I feel like I'm feeling very you do you about motivations. So if you want to motivations, I feel it's totally legit.
Cool.
As long as, yeah, I may, we'll see how that goes. It may get a bit split, but oh well.
Well, I've reworded it to play nice and go to church.
Ooh, that's a good one. I love that. Excellent. So I see we have oh yeah, so everyone's got their motivations, I think, by the looks of things. How about we go, I've done so much talking. So Alex, would you like to tell us like what your motivation is, and I guess like where that's coming from internally. Like, why is that super important for your character?
Again, with the betrayal. But no, I'm prepared this time. My motivation is get all of my family to go on a ride together at the fair.
Aw, that's so sweet. And why is it important to you?
I feel like there's still a lot of like unresolved iciness around the whole like accident and blame and regret.
Yeah.
So this is like a step one and / your olive branch. Like, get the family reunited. And I'm really, really hoping it fails out of character.
Oh. I'm having so much blade already. I have no idea. Excellent, cool. Yeah, Barrett, what is your motivation and why is it so important to you?
So my motivation is play nice and go to church. It is important to me because I think that growing up, I think that faith was probably really important to my mom, but not to James. And so like I think that I have of like one personal connection through that, and having failed at the the first attempt to community here, um this seems like a good next step, even though I don't think Eddie is like faithful at all.
I love it. I am feeling a little bleed about that too, actually. Ryan, what is your motivation and why is it so? I'm sorry. Yeah.
My motivation is to make amends with Thomas because I feel like I need to do that with my parents as well, but that's a bigger can of worms than just, like maybe say sorry to the guy I fucked off on and then died. And it says that my motivation should be about, like trying to reconcile the past. So yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. Also, apparently he's trying to get people to set me up with him, so I don't know what's going on here. We got baggage.
And Liam, what is your motivation and why is it so important to you?
I think I just want to find out if the person who killed me is even still here. He probably is, but I want to confirm and see what he's up to, and then also feed my cat because that's important.
I love it so much. Um, that is lovely. What I'll do is, I know that we're kind of coming up on the hour, so I might cheekily do our break a little bit early, and then we'll get into some scenes. We'll kick off with I'll do some sort of very indulgent panning shots of foreshadowing conflict that's coming up in this chapter, and then I will poll. I have such a hard time saying that in New Zealand accent. Poll the table, just to see what scenes you would like to have happen, and then we can kind of just work through them a scene at a time. So yeah, have a think about what scenes you might like to kick off this chapter 2 with, and it'll be a lot of fun. Let's give it 10 minutes, maybe just at 22 the hour, come back. Thank you. Sorry for the long time we spent setting up this chapter. Hopefully it'll go smoother for the next chapter, but I appreciate it. Okay, cool. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Thank you.
I've decided to go with the double berry gambit and see how this works out.
Nice. It's looking good so far.
Okay. Can I ask a real quick question about the ULA before we get into things?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, that is a season 2 thing.
Yeah, no, I've seen like literally the just the pilot. So like I have no idea like how like violent or covert they are, or like how they operate, or like would they I don't know if they're like pamphleteers who are given the name by the media, or if that's a name that they've chosen for themselves, or I just don't know.
Yes. Sorry, that is a very good point. The brief recap on the ULA are they parallel the parish in a lot of ways, in the sense that they hold sort of like sort of therapy like discussions, motivational discussions about like you don't need to wear like the makeup they give you, you're beautiful as you are kind of thing, and trying to encourage like the undead to accept themselves through who they are. They have like a lot of political values around like making sure like a living society validates and acknowledges that the undead are just as like deserve as many human rights as the living, since it's established like in season 2 like living members of society who um, are violent towards the undead get like lesser jail times and like easier sentencing, and it's quite like the opposite for yeah, they're just like so the value of like undead lives doesn't have the same weight in law, so like there is a lot of like motivation to rebel against like those kinds of unjust oppressive like laws and regulations. It's in terms of how they practice those values, we do see some scenes of their, and I'm not going to bring this up in this game, so I think it's a bit off tone. But in the show, like one of I think a member of like the ULA goes rather on a bus and is kind of like a terrorist activity. And I think there is another where 2 members of the ULA kind of go a bit rogue and vandalize like one of the one of like the local like treatment centers for like the undead, where like local nurses go. So it's like a bit of vandalism, and breaking and entering and stuff there. So long story short, there's kind of like tertiary more deviant or violent acts, and then the core of it is more about talking principles and values and not doing a huge amount to enact them yet. Yeah, to help like provide some background on their
totally
practices.
Yep, that's that helps a lot. I had some ideas for some scene stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be like totally off tone for what you all would expect. So cool, thank you.
Oh, lovely. And then in terms of I have a lot of feelings about like villainizing oppressed minorities. So they will not be they will not be villains. They may have motivations that might frustrate other people, but it's going to come from like a good place. Good question. Any
cool.
other?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for the question. Are other questions before we kick off? Everyone's back, I see. Excellent. So, I think it's like episode 2 of our mini series kicks off. We get a very panning shot of like Nuneaton around morning time. There's like the very soft, pale, like yellow light coming up from like the horizon, the air is sort of dewy and a bit chilly, but it's like warmed through by like the morning light. And we see like a shot of the main street with a couple of like people and cars like walking down it. But we sort of zoom in on a undead member of the community who's wearing very much like a very thick trench, has like short dark hair that's got kind of like a greaser quiff to it. No makeup, very like pinprick undead eyes, and they're like slathering up like a homemade poster over like some other posters that have been there from events prior, and this one reads like justice for Liam on it, with like a picture of like Liam's face. And the camera sort of like follows where that person's been, and these posters are kind of like slapped up like all down the main street. And then I think we sort of like continue on, like as sort of like the camera follows that way, we then also catch like a member of like the living community who's like a sort of like a Mrs. Lamb type, like very like a lithe older lady with like a very beaky nose. And she like looks at the poster like shakes her head, and continues past with like a satchel bag over her shoulder, and she stuffs like an envelope into a mailbox of like a house down the road. That sort of we just catch like sort of like your community needs your voice, like vote in like the upcoming local election. And so we get yellow pamphlet that it's just like she goes and like stuffs in like each of like the mailboxes. So we follow her down the street, and I guess since I was mean and did name superiority order last time, I'll just quickly poll the tables. So, like, let me know what scene you would like to see for your character, and then from there we'll just sort of do them in an order that kind of makes sense. So, Liam, what scene did you have in mind to kick off chapter 2?
Does it have to be? Because like I kind of like the idea of stumbling upon Guy, whatever his name is, by accident, like at the grocery store or something when I'm, say, picking up cat food.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Who is Guy again?
The murderer.
Oh, the murderer. Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have a name.
Yes. That sounds like a lovely scene. Like I'm just bumping into Guy at the supermarket. Excellent. So that's like thing we can have in chapter 2. Connor, what scene did you have in mind for to pick off chapter 2?
I mean, probably something at this winter fete sort of thing. That sounds like a good place for drama to go down. But also I was thinking that since I'm back in town, I'm probably helping at the family store. So if there's like a really quick cameo of me giving an awkward look at Liam or something as he then goes to confront his murderer, I'm totally into that.
Do you work at the grocery store?
My family owns the grocery store.
Oh, okay. Well, that works.
I mean, we totally have time to do both that scene plus like festival like scenes. And as I said, like we can take our time with this. We can have those color scenes of you like chatting with Liam at the grocery store. That is totally cool.
Yeah, and I don't need to stumble over Liam's scene. Just like there can be a tiny shot of me in the background going like, "Yep, I'm wearing an apron," and then pass on.
Excellent. And Eddie, what scene did you have in mind to kick off chapter 2?
I was thinking of something in the church about like talking to someone there about maybe like volunteering for something that the church is doing at the fair.
Yeah, like a bake sale or something.
because that is definitely something that I can do that does not involve me having to sit in church. That is definitely useful to me. So like that's kind of one thing that I was thinking. I was also like I was curious about the ULA stuff just because I think it would be I think it would be neat if they had some sort of presence at the at the fair when that comes around. And I don't know what the interaction looks like for Eddie quite yet, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
Excellent. Sounds like initially having a scene to establish like this church relationships. before going to the fair. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of like, let's do round one and then fair time, which I think sounds good. How about Ash? What do you want to do to kick off chapter 2?
If we're doing a round one before the fair time, maybe before the fair, maybe Xavier, older sibling who isn't dead, doesn't want to go with the family. And this is like me trying to convince. What did I give Xavier as pronouns?
Air.
Air. He trying to convince Air like that it's a good idea for us all to go.
Ah, that's so lovely. Awesome. So how about we do? Yeah, how about we? Let's do. Let's do the scene. Yeah, let's do that scene first. I think that one sounds like a good, like, sort of episode 2. Let's get your heartstrings right in this kind of thing. So, Ash, what does your house look like? I'm guessing where it happened. Is it happening at your house? What does it look like?
Oh. What do houses even look like? I don't know anymore.
Like
mine's blanking.
Kind of like a townhouse, weatherboards. Maybe there's some like tertiary damage from the rising. Like there was some barbed wire like around like the porch, but it's a bit rusted and
I've got it
down. Oh yeah.
So it's like a narrow 2-story house with like those like spiky iron fences around the outside, and a couple of them are like bent where someone was either impaled on them or like tried to pull them down.
Perfect. That's a good shot of that, right? Like as like we go to your house, and where as we zoom in, like where does this conversation take place? Is it in Xavier's room? Is it in your room? Kitchen? Living room?
I kind of just want to make it the treehouse, just for fun.
Nice. Is this one you built together in your childhood, or?
I reckon it was built by the parents, but like we decorated the inside.
Ooh.
This is like a crayon-y mess.
Oh, I love it. I guess like inside this treehouse, what of it have you left behind that still exists today?
Oh. Oh man, I think like underneath the table before like scrolled, like it's fixed to the floor and you'd only be able to see it if you were like lying down on your back underneath it. But because we're all small at the time, you could like get there easily. Underneath like this table is like a picture of like the 5 of us on a boat on the lake.
I love it. And what do you notice is missing?
Oh. Sorry about the dog.
Don't apologize. I love our dog.
Sorry about our dog.
Sorry, I spat to you, everyone.
Oh man. I think like there used to be a nice window to the outside world. And like this nice fancy like carved in engravings around the outside. But it has been since been like boarded up and shut off.
Nice. Okay, so cool. So there's like we see like Ash sitting around this like table with Xavier, and it's probably a bit like you're both probably a bit like too big for it now. You're probably like kneeling around it or something because like you're big kids now.
Super cramped.
What does Xavier look like?
Oh man, I was not prepared for this.
Sorry, so many questions. I just
let's go for yes, Ryan. Yes, it is. Go for short black hair, super like rough and calloused hands, Maybe he's working as like a mechanic. So they're used to like a whole bunch of labor work and I don't know. What else? Is that all there needs to be? Very sharp and pointed eyes.
Nice. So it sounds like the callousness about their hands and stuff, like that's a trait that's they've carried through, like when you knew them, like through to the Rising and beyond. Like that's part of their core identity, you know, or like as what new habit have they picked up that has changed since the Rising? That they've picked up since the Rising, I guess.
I think they always have a wrench on them, like their trusty old wrench that they used in the Rising. It's like slightly bent and like very rusted.
Oh, nice. It's probably like ooh. Yeah, I think Xavier for sure like keeps it with like with her oh yeah, like we probably get a little shot of it that's like a just peeking out of their satchel bag that like is wearing as like we're cramped around like this treehouse table. Like a probably puts like an unconscious hand on it, like as like these pronouns should take me for a ride as like looks at like you like or undead sibling, and I have to know are you makeup? I just am curious.
Definitely. But if you think it's more interesting from that, I could have like one contact that I still have to put in.
I think I like the makeup thing. That sounds good. So Xavier looks like somewhat comfortable in your presence, but there's still that sort of palpable insecurity, not sure quite how to engage you. So it's probably a really like long pause, pregnant pause as Xavier looks at you and then like looks around the treehouse and like clears air like her throat and it's been quite some time since we've come up here. I mean, I guess yeah, I never thought you and I would be together ever again after the accident.
Yeah, a lot has certainly changed.
But in some ways it's still very much the same, you know? I mean, you literally don't look you've aged a day.
The perks, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad some good has come of that. We kind of lost a lot. Not just like what happened, but you know, when the thing, like the time when, you know, what the stuff that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, we're past that now, right? Back together again.
Yeah, it's like nothing's changed. I mean, well, what was your siblings? Who was the sibling who died?
Some names.
For some reason, MacGyver.
Let's go for Finn.
How do you spell
that? F-I-N-N.
Oh, sorry. I said yeah. And pronouns?
Huh?
Pronouns?
Oh. Crap. Ziza.
Sounds good. I knew you were going to say that. I love you.
You wanted all of the queerness, right?
Yeah, all the queerness. So I think, yeah, so like Xavier says, yeah, it's like nothing's changed. And then you can see like that moment in their eyes where they're like, oh fuck, that is definitely not true. And they're not quite sure how to bring up the fact that everything has changed and nothing is the same. And I think a subconscious hand like goes to the wrench again, and they're like the heel of their palm just like cups it for security. What do you do? Or say?
Oh. I mean, some things have changed, but not everything needs to, right? We could just, like, the fair. The fair's coming up. We could go there, like the old times. All of us.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't gone to the fair as a family since, since Finn. I don't know. Like, don't you kind of want to preserve that memory? Like, that was such a good time. Like, we were a proper family. Like, we talked to each other and we got along. And ever since Finn died, like, I'm afraid, like, what if we go back and we just realize how fucked everything is?
I mean, it's better than nothing, right? Things like this.
Would you like to set up a conflict?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so you can either set up a conflict and you will have narrative control over the outcome of your die roll. You can accept a plot point from me and I can... Oh, you can accept a conflict from me. It will be very bad. Bad things will happen. I cannot emphasize how many bad things will happen. So
You put it like that.
Would you like to set up the conflict?
Huh?
Would you like to spend a plot point and set up this conflict?
Sure. I've got two. I can burn one.
Excellent. What should we call this conflict? Like, I can think of a couple of things. Do you have something on your brain?
Oh, something like breaking the family ice.
Love it. That sounds good. So it's vague enough that you can hit on it multiple times. But concrete enough for the scene. So yes, breaking. Let's go to our hitting in conflict. Right. Breaking the family ice. Excellent. So we'll kind of set up this conflict, like you're imploring Xavier that you should go to the fair and everything will be fine, and like this is a healthy way to move forward. Xavier isn't so sure. So would you like to... Oh shoot. I'll grab a roll for your party link. 1 second. I think it's the same one as last time. There we go. I've whacked it in the chat there. Please feel free to figure out what move you're making. So let's quickly look at your character sheet. You have Ash. You are neither rising nor falling, so you have access to like the flat moves, which is satiate when you want to take care of a need, roll plus instinct. Navigate others when you want to guide others, roll personality. And when you want to get others help, roll morality. Whichever of those approaches you feel is appropriate. And then add your stat to it.
Give me a second while I figure out how technology works. That is not the right link at all.
It's okay. Take your time.
Wait, yes it is. I'm there. Okay. Moves, moves, moves. This kind of feels like a...
Oh, go.
This kind of feels like a navigate others to me.
I think it does, yeah. So let's add your personality. Just 2. And then roll 2d6. Yeah, because you're neither protagonist nor antagonist with So it's a 6 plus 2.
It's an 8.
8. So on a 7 plus. So rate the outcome. So on a 7 plus, the conflict is resolved and removed from the table. If rolling against an elder character, you get plus, as doesn't count. You get +1 arc for rising. So you're now rising. Congrats. And it doesn't represent a chapter move, so we can continue as normal. Yeah. So just give us the last 3 seconds of what you say to Xavier to convince Air that this is a good idea. And then we'll pick up the scene again.
Oh. I think, for narrative's sake, there's like a mirror in the room that, what is the character's name? Ash. Ash picks up and like puts, you can see the picture they drew. And it's like, it's what Z would want us to do.
Ah, yeah, it's probably all 3 of you in that like under the table thing, right? And Xavier like looks at the mirror and like you can kind of see like Xavier tear up a bit. Like I think last that I made a like level know that Xavier probably forgot it was there. I think Xavier even like goes up to like reaches a bit of a hand out like toward like the mirror, and swallows and says like, "Yeah, you're right, Ash. We're not gonna do Finn any good by forgetting that Finn ever existed. We should remember Finn, and you're right. It's like what Finn would want. Hey, we should totally like go ride Finn's favorite ride when we're at the park. How's it sound?
Sounds good.
I'll see you there.
See you there.
Ah, yay! That was a cool scene. I kind of like the idea of ramping into like the what the grocery scene looks like. So I think like let's I'm gonna say let's see what church looks like. So what is what is sorry. Yeah, so what is Eddie's approach for church? Like what did you have in mind for this scene?
Well, I think Eddie is trying to get himself ready, and he's going through the things that James has packed for him, and he had gotten a job in the world of business, but and had a professional attire, but for the most part, that isn't what James has packed. So I'm lucky to be able to find just like a button-down shirt, and like I think I have to rummage through James's things to find a tie to make myself presentable. And like as I'm getting myself ready, like I'm putting the makeup on, and like I think that I'm still not quite used to this, and I think that I get some on my I think I get like a little bit on my collar and a little bit on my cuffs as I'm getting ready, and I think before I leave, I have to I see like my morning alarm go off like on my phone to remind me that I need my neurotrip treatment for the day, and I'll just kind of call out as I'm getting myself ready and say, Dad, I got to get going. So can we get this done? And I'll kind of finish getting ready. I don't want to make that like part of the scene proper. I just like just to kind of color it. We can deal with James later. But I think that I probably need to walk to church. I think that this is. I don't know. I don't know how many churches there are in Nuneaton. It seems like one. It seems like one is the answer to that. And I think as I like walk in and like I'm looking at like if they have like a cork board in like the not in like the sanctuary or whatever, but in the like kind of in the entrance hall with like all the different events coming up and whatnot. Like I'm looking for like a sign up sheet or whatever to see like, where are people doing things? What all is this church doing in the community? And so I'll kind of pause and look at that and just like make note of it for later. And then like as the church bell starts to ring, like I'll go and like take a seat like kind of near the rear of the sanctuary.
Yeah, if you like, we can even roll back a little bit because I have an idea.
Okay, yeah.
So I think like as you're looking at the corkboard, we see that sort of beaky nosed lady from like the opening shot, right? Who was like stuffing pamphlets into mailboxes, and I think she's likewise like doing it, like putting a push pin into like one of those like little yellow pamphlets she had into the corkboard, and she looks at you, and like sort of does like a bit of the double take, because you look living, but your makeup job it's a bit of work, and sort of gives you a very slow eye up and down, and she sort of like pulls the satchel bag she had on a little bit closer to like the strap a little bit closer to her chest, and she clears her throat and says, I haven't seen you around here before.
Oh, hi. I'm Eddie, and I'll reach my hand out for like to shake her hand.
And she you see her hesitate, and like sort of do a make a show of like her like ridding herself of what she's about to touch, and like she takes your hand very tentatively and says, ooh, Mrs. Green.
Oh, well, hi, Mrs. Green. I'm Eddie. I'm new here. I'm with James is my dad. I don't know if you have anyone who's being treated.
No, I do not personally have anyone being treated for.
That's very fortunate for you.
Yeah.
And I want to look at what she was putting up on the cork board.
And I like, yeah, you get a look at it, and it's like a very like a yellow pamphlet that has like we see that another shot again of like your community needs your voice, like vote in the upcoming like local election, with like sort of very happy text and like clip art and stuff. And she sees you like catch a look at the pamphlet, and I think she says like, oh, I don't know if you're aware, but the local elections are coming up. Not that I imagine you're concerned with it at all, being, TDS.
What do you mean? I mean, it's the same government that everyone else has, right? They still make lots of decisions about, people like me.
But yes, of course. I mean, the local council is very aware and concerned with the PDS sufferer needs, as well as everyone else in this community. But
our needs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad to hear that's what they're concerned about.
Of course. Yes, I'm so glad that you get it. But sweetheart, I'm not sure. PD sufferers aren't allowed to vote.
I don't think that this is like dawned on Eddie before. But they
But look, we are always seeking volunteers, so your voice can likewise be heard if you would ever like to canvass for any of the parish candidates.
Well, do you have any more of those?
Oh yes, of course. And like she takes out like 6 and like sort of gives them to you. And it's like, please feel free to share this with your PDS friends. So like let them know that their voice can be heard just as much as anyone else's. And the parish is always looking for more support, especially from the young people.
And I'm going to start kind of like flipping through the pamphlet, and like I don't know if this would be the kind of thing where like it outlines their like the candidates' platforms or whatever. And like I'm just curious like how blatant the PDS bias is in these, like once you get past the like the front sheet.
Yeah, it's probably like not blatant, but it's very much like you can read between the lines, where it's like reinforcing safe communities and like a post-rising world or something, like in a or yes, like it sort of very much like I think there are some like more liberal candidates who are advocating for like an equal local community, and like are more active in that sense. But then yes, you definitely have the more conservative, the ones that throw a thin veil over like over PDS is not community.
Then yeah, I think I'll say well, yeah, I'd be happy to take a bunch of those.
Oh, bless you. What did you say your name was again?
It's Eddie.
Eddie
Holcroft.
Oh, Eddie Hol. Oh, yes, James Holcroft. Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
missed
just
having him
got here a
around.
little bit ago.
We missed having him around church when he made an appearance. I didn't realize he was back in town.
Well, he's seen to quite a lot of patients, is what I understand.
Oh, bless. He is doing the Lord's work.
Have I seen anyone else with PDS inside the church?
Ooh, maybe. I think they're probably like 2 or 3.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, but everyone else is very much living.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mrs. Green like smiles at you. It's like, and no, I'm so happy I bumped into you today. Would you? What does she want? Oh yeah, I think she says like, it was so lovely bumping into you today, and I should go and find my seat.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later. And so this stack of pamphlets. I don't know how good I'm going to be at distributing those, but that'll be fun. Yeah, I think I'll sit through the I'll sit through the service, and I'll sit through the service, and then then I'm gonna look and see if they. I want to see what the other PDS sufferers do. Like if they're just like with families and that's why they're here, or if they're like here by themselves for some reason.
There's probably like 1 or 2 poor PDS sufferers that very much look like they're with their family, like
Okay.
very makeup, wearing their Sunday best, like probably around your age as well, like
Okay.
young enough where they feel obligated to like go along with their family, but looking very uncomfortable like amongst the sea of living. But
Okay.
I think there is we get like a very quick like foreshadowing shot of like that that kind of greaser looking trench coated like PDS like undead person who's like very much standing way at the back, just like observing church from from like the door archway that sort of like leads into the congregation area, like one shoulder against like against the wall, kind of watching.
Okay. I don't think that I want to bring on a conflict for this scene. Like, I don't feel particularly welcomed, and I don't think that makes sense to like try and satiate that need right now. I don't want to condemn anyone yet, but I'm gonna keep that in my pocket.
Excellent. That sounds good.
Cool.
Lovely scene. I love Eddie so much already. Okay, and then I kind of want to jump to, let's go to our scene with Connor. I think like yeah, Connor, what did you have in mind? Would you like to make this a conversation with Liam? What would you have in mind for your grocery scene? I'm just curious. I have so many questions.
I have no idea.
Let's check your motivation. What would be driving Connor?
Well, the motivation I put down was make amends with Thomas. There's probably other ones in play for this scene, but I didn't think that far ahead. So,
would you like Thomas can be in this? Thomas can.
Oh no.
What would you like? What would you like for your scene? Thomas can be there. Thomas cannot be there. I have some ideas in mind if you want a plot point for some bad things that will happen.
Okay, I'm really curious what your ideas are now.
But yeah, and so yeah, well, I can think of causing trouble in the grocery store that you're working at and having to deal with trouble as an employee of this place that your parents own. I can think of some other trouble in the form of more canvassing, being, you know, like when you go to the grocery store and people are like, oh, can you please put this in the window? Like don't worry about it. Like I'll leave this on the counter. Like at least the things like that being a thing. I can see Thomas is like wandering into the grocery store, trying not to be like a dog, but being a super dog.
All of these sound terribly appropriate.
Mm. Yeah, what do you feel like? I will say if you would like trouble at the store, I will give you a plot point and we can sit the conflict about that.
Sure, I'll go for trouble.
Okay, so please take it.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all these plot points, but I'll collect them because that means I'm winning.
Yes, and then for reference, you can use plot points to create a conflict, as we saw previously. You can use plot points to re-roll a move if you fail a dice roll and you want to have another go. You can spend a plot point to like take narrative control. By that I mean like introduce a story element, an NPC, and we have to live with that. I would appreciate some negotiation around consent if you exercise it right. But whatever you come up with, I would like. That's so cool. I love that idea. It's now in the fiction. Excellent. So yes, I will give you a conflict, which I think is ooh, yeah. So I think like we see that the greaser person who was like putting up flyers and stuff, right? Like walk past like their storefront of like your parents' shop. I imagine it's very like a general store, like sort of a dairy convenience. Like there's a magazine rack. There's like some shelves of various like consumable products that you can buy. It's like soap, powder, canned goods. There's probably some like cheap veg on display as well. It's a like, good grocery store smell to it. And and we see her like stop and then like do the thing is like she opens like the grocery store door. She's wearing she's wearing no makeup apart from like a very like blood red like lip. Um, and has like sort of like the greaser hair back with like sort of shaved sides and like a trench with like the sleeves like rolled up, and she's wearing like a um very baggy like loose black tee underneath that sort of has like sort of a boat neck kind of look to it, but it's like stretched out t-shirt kind of thing. Um, and she smiles at you and has likewise like a stack of like papers in like under one arm. And I'm guessing you probably wear makeup and to work, right?
Totally, yeah. And I think he sort of does the reflexive, morning, and then kind of looks over and is like, wait, what? And yeah, you're supposed to wear, the moose when you're out.
You say that to her or?
Yeah, I totally do.
Excellent. She smiles at you with like a bit of a smirk, and she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm wearing makeup." And, like she like runs like her bottom like thumb like underneath her lip.
Not exactly what they had in mind, I don't think.
Well, I mean, at least I wear mine like properly, and I think she looks at your makeup job like very judgmentally. It's like I could give you some tips on foundation if you like, but honestly, you don't need that shit. You're beautiful as you are.
Is there something you want?
Yes, yes, of course. And she like sort of holds up the papers, and she's like, look, I'm sure you know about Liam.
Yeah, what about Liam?
Well, like what happened to Liam Moore, like how he's murdered and shit, and no one's taking it seriously.
Yeah, he told me a bit about that.
Yeah, isn't it just like totally fucked?
Yeah, and he's totally like going like, my makeup is fine, right? But you can't touch it to make sure because then it'll smear or something, and that kind of awkward, I don't want to touch my face, but also I want to touch my face. Where do I put my hands? Sort of thing. And yeah, but what are you planning to do about it? Like, stick up "Who Killed Liam" posters?
Well, I mean, yeah, A, you gotta like raise awareness and stuff because no one's gonna take you seriously if no one like is aware of the problem. And then I don't know, I guess I mean, yeah, like a petition a local council. Like I don't know, like we haven't got to that point yet, but it's just it's wrong how they treat us. It's wrong that Liam was murdered in cold blood and it will never see justice just because Liam is undead. A violent act still happened, and whoever did it needs to pay for it.
Sure. I mean,
I'm so glad you agree. And then she like
wait, what?
she puts down like the stack of like flyers on the grocery store counter, and it's like, so I'll just like leave these here. And yeah, I mean, it'd be great if I like gave them to people or something, or like I could actually I'll put them in the window. I can do that for you. It's totally fine.
And he's totally running through that. Dad isn't gonna want these in the window, and I'm not gonna give them to customers or anything. Like, no, it's okay. I'll post them myself. Tapes on the back. Totally lying through my teeth.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, we didn't set up a conflict. So bad.
Oh no, we didn't.
Like pause the set up conflict. So I think the conflict is kind of like what to give with things this conflict. So I kind of feel like your parents probably gonna be quite pissed if they find all this shit in the store.
Yeah, I don't think they really intended for me to stick up a bunch of Who Killed Liam posters when they left me in charge for a bit.
Yeah. Um, how does I don't know. I must like do my job well. It's like is a character conflict.
Do a good job. Don't make waves.
Yeah.
Yes, very military. I just want to do this and then be done and on to the next thing. And yeah, man, I think I'm probably trying to navigate others to convince her to just leave and let me pretend that I'm doing it.
Sounds good. That's with personality, right?
Yeah. So I just roll
2d6 and whatever your stat is for personality.
Oh no, I accidentally chose the same color as Ash.
I think you got an 11, right?
Yeah, that's an 11.
Excellent. Well, interestingly, because you accepted a conflict, I believe I still get narrative control over it. So, oh yeah, I find this this is just me thinking out loud for playtesting purposes. This is interesting for me to navigate because I feel like you got a 10 plus, so like you should get whatever you want. But since I have control, and I have some incentive to make it a bit mixed, so I'm just gonna do what feels right. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I like this a lot. Okay, so like I think she like gives you a look like, like maybe I had you wrong. And she like sort of like looks back a little bit and takes you in again. And she's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm Regina, by the way.
Connor.
And you know, if you ever want someone to like talk to about any of this kind of stuff, like we've actually got like it's on the poster actually. We've got like a community group you can come and talk to and talk about like I don't know what you're going through, like family problems, um, all that kind of thing. So I mean, you seem like a pretty cool guy. We'll see you there.
Yeah, sure, maybe. No
Awesome.
promises.
Yeah, and she like gives like a really punch in the shoulder and is like, "I'll see you there." And then like sort of like strings back out of like the store, and then we probably get like that's like at the same time, right? Like we get Liam like coming in.
Yeah, and I think we see Connor like rip off the bottom of one of the posters and kind of fold it up neatly and stick it in a pocket so he has the information.
Aw.
And just quietly recycle the rest.
Yes, Liam, is that a good platform for Liam to come into the grocery store?
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Excellent. Yeah, how do you we probably get like Regina like brushes past you like on the way out as like Liam comes in. Liam, do you catch sight of like the poster?
Is she still holding them?
I think she left them like on a stack of them like on the grocery store counter. So they're probably
I think Connor put those away, he said.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I think they're probably still standing out there for a little bit while I'm like pocketing the info, and then I'm gonna grab them and do something with them. So you could see them or not, depending upon whether you want to look at the counter right away before I manage to disappear them.
It's up to you, Sarah.
I mean, I'm here to get cat food.
Aww.
I think like double take at girl, Regina, just because that's an unusual thing to see. Her bare face.
Yeah.
And then like probably nod to you, Connor. And then I probably would see the papers. Are you
Morning, and I Like, as I see you see the papers, I'm gonna like kind of grab them off the counter and stuff them somewhere.
What's that?
The girl's just in here was wanting to stick up a bunch of posters about you. I kind of reluctantly grab one and put it back on the counter.
What's this?
I don't know. Did you say something about petitioning the council to, like, justice?
He like just puts his hand like flat down it and like takes the entire thing. And like looks back over his shoulder at the girl. Is she still in view at all?
Ooh, she's probably like smoking a cigarette outside. Like she's probably lit it and stuff, but isn't actually smoking it. She's just like dense memory.
Okay. So yeah, with the paper in hand, I'll just kind of lean out. And just like wave it at her or like hold it up.
And she like she takes like the cigarette she wasn't smoking. Like it's not burning very quickly because there's no like air sort of like being inhaled. And like gives it a flick and
holding it up like right next to my face.
yes. And she looks at you and looks at the poster, and I think she looks a bit awestruck actually. Like, oh shit, it's Slave Moore. It's like,
it's yours?
Yeah, it totally is.
And who are you?
I'm Regina. I part of the ULA.
Sorry, the what?
The Undead Liberation Army. We
would we have heard of this?
What do you think? Is it for what's more interesting? If it's like a new thing that's coming through, or it's like rumors of it, or like there's some like circling scuttlebutt.
They're probably new to town, but like if you go into any of the bigger cities.
I love it. Yes, yeah. So she's like, like the ULA. We've taken it upon ourselves to right the wrongs that the living inflict upon us, the way they oppress us, and the way they don't treat us as people. And we heard about what happened, and the fact that literally no one's done anything to give you the justice that you deserve. And
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's fucked. Like,
totally fucked.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying to our mate in there, like, a violent act happened, a crime happened, and yet nothing's been done about it. That is unjust, and you
nothing is being done. Yeah. Okay, so what's this thing?
Oh well,
do you guys have like, I don't know, meetings or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm totally joining a call, guys.
Yeah, your mate's like she says like your mate, but it's like she didn't catch Connor's name, I guess. She didn't catch Connor's name, did you?
I mean, I told her, but if she's anything like me, that means that she remembered it for exactly the duration of that interaction. So
yeah, our mate there. Yeah, he's really interested. We've got a community group. You can like come find us. Someone rents. We just go to their living room, sit down, chat about the actions that we're going to take to make sure that you see justice. And I mean, other injustices that have plagued this town are symptomatic of our oppressed society. So yeah, you can totally come along, and bring your friends. We're very open.
And like all the information's on the paper, I assume.
Yeah, it's like a time, place, all that jazz kind of thing.
Just so I know, when is it?
Oh yeah, let's say it's after the fair. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Okay. And just like folding it up, like not just shoving it in my pocket, but like being kind of neat about it. Like, yeah, sure. See you, I don't know, what is it, Friday?
Yeah, I'll say Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
See you Friday. Good bumping into you. And
Yeah, you too.
we're here for you. And then she like kicks off, like she unslatches from like where she was leaning against like the storefront. And we it's probably like a figure that like walks past like our shot and like into the shop, but we don't get a good look of like their face or anything. They're very like a foreshadowed like character as such, and I think it's probably like a guy. Oh yeah, definitely like a hat, blocking out like their identity. As they twing like into the shop and like nod at Connor, and probably mosey on down to the cat food aisle as well.
Wait, so they passed by me on the way in?
Yeah, like this pass by, really not paying attention to like what's happening here.
Okay.
And yeah, you're welcome to spend a plot point if you want to be like, oh, I totally know who this person is and want to establish some facts about them. You can leave that as like a foreshadowed like what's going on kind of thing, or we can see how
I
it plays out.
mean, do I need to spend a plot point to say this is the person who murdered me, or is
I
that
think,
heavily implied enough that?
I think it's heavily implied enough that like it's probably who it is, where you don't have to spend a plot point just to say, oh, this is who murdered me. I would feel, I feel like plot points are worth more like this is who it is, or like giving some more established like narrative facts around like their identity. Yeah, but I'm happy heavily implying that that's like our guy.
Okay, well, I have to go back into the store to buy cat food, so I'm probably going to see him. So let's give him a name at least.
Yeah, let's give him a name.
Oh, what's the most boring name on earth?
Ooh.
I mean,
John.
Guy is legitimate, but
Let's call him John.
Good one. Yeah, John.
Although that means we have a James too.
John, James, Thomas, and Luke, and the other Christian names. Oops.
Martin.
I'm good with Martin. We'll see. Martin. Awesome. So yeah, we see okay, yeah. Hatted figure, probably wearing like a light like autumnal layer to keep off like the I feel like British fates are always set in some unfortunate season. Like always it's spring. Yeah, so it's like just to keep off like the spring thawing out of winter. And, like yeah, they are probably quite like heavy booted. It's like sort of like crunch like up to the aisle with like your tins of cat food and like the sort of like big sacks of like kibble and stuff, and with some cat toys and dog toys.
Okay, and I'll come back in and like, why didn't you tell me what this was? To Connor.
I wasn't sure if you'd be into that, or if you wanted your face stuck up everywhere or something.
I think that didn't quite occur to him. It's just like, yes, like people believe me. And he's like, whatever, no, like they're gonna help.
Oh, they are? I mean, they just pitched like a support group, and then also
Well, that's not what
posters.
Vagina said.
I guess he got a different speech than me. I mean, like, do you want me to stick them open the window or something?
Yes.
It seemed kind of rude, but I mean,
This feels like it might be a conflict?
It feels like it might be, yeah.
sure.
What is the conflict?
I wanted to put them up, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
Or do you? Maybe it's not a conflict.
Well, conflict between what I feel is my role and what I would do for a fellow dead friend. That's a completely different game. Yeah, I'm willing to be persuaded to stick them up, though that is not my inclination.
So we both roll, or
I think for PCs, and FYI, you're welcome to tag like the setting conflict as murder for this one. You won't have to spend a plot point if you want to like. I feel like this
sure, yes,
or local politics actually, yeah. That just means I'll just italicize it so it's like tapped for the rest of this chapter. And for rolling against PCs, like let's quickly look at the rules. So
a drawback.
Character moves. So hang on, identifying the conflict. We've chosen an existing conflict, which is sitting conflicts. So, oh yes, this is coming back to me now. So we sit at the conflict, which is you'd like to put like these just through the posters like in the window, and Connor is having some reservations about it. Then you'd pick like which move you're taking, as in like a flat mover. I think you're right. Are you rising currently?
Can I roll morality?
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, this sounds like you're making a moral stand, like almost like we want to make a social / moral like conviction. Like this is about justice for you and for like PDS sufferers who are undead. Or
but mostly me.
Yeah, or even rally. Like if you want to get others to help, like you're trying to get them to help. So I think either of the morality moves make total sense.
Or are they broken down further?
Not really. Yeah, there's just like make a moral stand when you want to make a moral / social conviction roll morality, or rally when you want to get others to help, like roll morality. And I think it's with that sense that like, yeah, this is like the right, just thing to do. Like there's some sense of why am I shaking my fist so much? Yeah. Yes, because I'll just double check the moves. Yeah, the moves are there's no elaboration on what these moves mean apart from that one sentence. So
okay, well, I mean sounds like it fits. Excellent. So it says drawback if it's protagonist. How does that work?
Yeah, so if you're rolling against a protagonist, it's at a disadvantage. So you'll roll 3d6 and take the 2 lowest. You're both protagonists, I think, right?
Well, we have a protagonistic relationship.
Yeah. And then, oh shoot, Brian, do you remember when you can change it? I forget when you can change it.
I think at the end of a chapter, at the beginning of a new chapter, you look through and see if they fit.
They fit, yeah.
But yes. I might be making that up, which sounds like a thing I would do.
I feel like at some point when we played it with Christopher Gray, we were like, oh, I feel like we're now changing our relationship ad hoc. So I don't.
I think it was like write a new motivation and see if your character relationships still fit. But again, I might be making that up.
Let's run with that for now, and then I can assess. Because I think that makes sense. It makes sense that would be done like. Let's double check it is like a chapter end cheat sheet. The start of each chapter, get plot points, define new motivation. That is not codified. That's what you do at the end of chapter, at the start of each chapter. I will have a further dig into when exactly you change protag and tag. But I feel like let's run with protags for now. Sorry about this. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about changing Portag and Tag.
Okay, I do just want to.
Because I'll think out loud. My one thought is like, at this point, it feels like you're like, well, Connor does not have my back. Like that very much feels like we're like that.
I mean, it depends on whether or not he does it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. So how? Let's run with the rules as is. I feel like we're going to come up to the end of the chapter actually. Oh, we'll see. Yeah. So because you're acting against Connor, it would be a disadvantage. I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah,
The
take
two
the two lower.
6 and then 2 lower, yeah.
Okay, so that is a 4.
Oh gosh, plus
plus 2, 6.
6. Ooh. Okay. And let us just go to, and a 6 minus, the conflict is not resolved and is still in play. It's murders that will stay in. The character player receives -1 arc. And if rolling against a novel character, they get +1 for refusing to concede. So in this case, it would be like, it sounds like if Connor follows through on that conviction of like, no, I need to just do my job. And I will refuse to put up these posters. It sounds like Connor, you can still acquiesce.
So what does me failing the role actually do?
That's a good question. So, I'm just having a quick scan. Yeah. There is no guidance on narrative control and PC conflicts. So I think what makes sense is, since it sounds like there is some baked agency into Connor having +1 arc for conceding, it sounds like Connor can get no arc but still like go through with it. So Connor, how would you respond?
I mean, it's not a very moving plea, perhaps. It's not Liam's best work. And I think you can see Connor looking very conflicted because he knows that his parents are not going to be super thrilled to come back and see the "But Who Murdered Liam" for reals also come to our support group posters. And kind of waffles a bit. And then I'm like, if it means that much to you, okay, sure. And I'll agree to post like 1 poster.
Aw.
And I think all of that, like he just hears the yes.
Aw. So I'll shut up. And how does like what do we see on Liam, like when Connor is like, yes, I'll.
I mean, he was like pretty excited talking about it before, so it's just like a continuation of that. It's like, yeah, of course you would. It's the right thing to do.
Aw.
I'm gonna go get cat food. You go hang that up.
And Connor is happy to find an exit for all of this weirdness and awkwardness. It's just like, oh yeah, right, where's the tape? It kind of goes back to rummaging beneath the counter for stuff.
I almost like draw that scene close there. Like we get this sort of foreshadowing, ominous, like we see like how our very heavily implied murderer like sort of go in to be like at the same cat food stall as you while like Connor's gonna put up like this poster. And then we might take an hour break for we're over our hour now. So what will quick admin before we do? I'll just I know we said we'd get like I guess first thing we'll do is I'll have a quick look at the chapter 2 conditions, which is like in the meeting. The story's ordeal is presented, and the characters seek advice and gather what is needed to confront it until a character will cross the threshold. I'll use the rule, Jason Pitt's rule of meh. Like, as in, do we feel like we satisfied that? If the answer is meh, then like we'll keep going with chapter 2. If people are like, yeah, totally, like this happened, and a character crossed a threshold in this way, then we can draw a line under chapter 2. Actually, I think I'm feeling pretty meh on like crossing the threshold. I think we can get some more interesting scenes with that.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I feel like it said something about refusing the call on the one I was reading, but I can't figure out where these were anymore.
Refusing the what, sorry?
Where the chapter trigger definition things are.
Oh yeah, I think they're on the playbooks.
Yeah, they're on the fancy PDF.
What is that called? I'm just not finding it in my Google Drive.
It's in the center column under chapters.
Yeah, and I'll actually share it again.
Oh, mine just says the call?
Yeah, it says an inciting incident propels the characters toward the main conflict of the story, and a character will refuse the call.
Where are you reading this?
Hey, where is that?
I don't know. What file am I looking at then? This is weird.
Is it on the grid, the Excel sheet?
No, I'm looking at the PDF
Okay.
last week.
I am not.
Weird.
Do we have multiple
I just
versions in play? Because the one I just opened says meeting.
Oh, this one only has 5 chapters. The one that you just shared only has 5. Mine has 6.
Yeah, because I totally remember reading your definition before, Barry, and now it says the meeting. I'm like, oh, it does say that.
Oh, I don't know what I did, but
no, that is totally my bad because I think I used the old like archetypes I had, and then I now realized that Chris Gray has updated them. So that is where that confusion happened. Oh. Hopefully, all of the playbooks are still the same. That is my bad. But yeah, so the updated playbook. Interesting. I have a lot of thoughts for this. Yeah, so the updated playbooks are once the story's ordeal is presented and the characters gather what is needed to confront it until a character will cross the threshold. The next chapter being the test. If the characters explore the situation and run into conflict and make friends and enemies until a character will go into the cave. So yes, how are we feeling on our interpretation of crossing the threshold? Was that achieved in those scenes?
Meh.
Meh. I'm feeling meh. Yeah, let's keep going. Awesome. So let's take another 10 sounds good, I think. Since it is quite let's take 10. We'll come back and be like 5 past the hour, actually. It's under 10 minutes. And then we'll do another poll for scenes and see what the takes us into the fate. Sounds good.
Lauren, I love the pacing of this game, and I can't believe that we only have one more session.
Oh, I know. Yeah, actually, I was gonna do a quick check-in. Like, how is this? The spotlight is very slow, I feel. Is that okay with everyone?
I am 100% into it.
I mean, as long as we get to the end, yeah, like I do like the pacing. It does feel like it might be more suited for more sessions, but
Yeah, yeah.
we have an entire novel to get through.
I know. I was thinking that earlier. I was like, oh gosh, like I thought 4 hour sessions for three. I was like, that'll be plenty of time. Like that's yeah, but I think you're right. Like, yeah. Well, I think as long as people are having fun and it's not dragging, then we should be able to like ramp up a bit more for future chapters. But I'm very aware that this is your last session, right, Sarah? Oh, really?
I mean, I am going to be out of town,
Oh, that's
but
right.
there will be internet. I think just the noise level is going to be my concern, but I should be able to work something out.
Yes, it
So,
gave me so much life because oh my gosh, I love Liam. So I'm so if that works out, I will be so happy. Excellent, great, cool. That helps. Yes, excellent. So we can kind of take the pace as is fun for us. Perfect. Welcome back, everyone. So I'll do another quick table poll since Alex, we haven't heard from you for some time. What scene would you like to see next for Ash?
Man, I really have no idea.
That's okay. Would you like to think about it and hear what other people have to say first?
I would like that very much.
It's okay, because while name superiority puts you on the spot, you're not obligated to have magic thoughts on the spot. Excellent, Barry.
I was just looking at the character sheet that I did not have, and apparently my mechanics are very different from what I thought, which is
shit.
neat. Oh no, it's I don't think that we've done anything like weird yet, but like apparently, when I am falling, which I currently am, anytime morality is called for, I have to use whatever the lower of my instinct or personality is instead of morality, which is neat. I like that.
I'm glad that worked out.
So I think what I'm thinking is like I'd like to see Eddie at the at the fair, but I'm not quite sure where I'm not quite sure where I fall yet. I'm trying to think of like what the how the chapter threshold works, because I am into the the notion of finding out about Liam's whole situation, and uh learning about the ULA and potentially joining them and becoming locally politically active. That sounds neat to me. It seems like it works for the shape of the story that we're supposed to do, but I don't quite know what the scene would be.
No problem. I can think of a couple of things. Like we could try and bring your motivation into it and be like, perhaps the parish has a presence at the fair. Or whatever. I feel like when in doubt, sort of look at your motivation or look at what your drive is, and have in mind the chapter move being when one crosses the threshold, whether that's metaphorically, literally. That's good guides.
And we don't have a new motivation for this because we're still in the same chapter, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I screwed up. Okay. I'll think about it for a minute.
No problem. Take your time. We can come back to you as well. Ryan.
I'm it doesn't push a greater narrative along. So I feel bad going like, so my main thought was that I should probably like have really awkward defining the undead relationship conversations with Thomas at some point.
That is totally cool. That makes sense. that is a motivation for this chapter. Whether that happens like at the fair, or would you, or so I guess like you've all agreed to go together, so we can sort of say like, oh, that happened, like, that didn't make it to like the final cut of this TV show, but we're there now, and had that conversation at the fair, or
I was totally thinking at the fair, sort of, because
oh, perfect,
that's where they agreed to meet
yeah.
up.
So this sounds like but a scene of awkward conversations, defining relationships with Thomas. Cool. How about Sarah?
With the backdrop of those terrible like fake fishy games and like this creepy meat sale and
Oh, the meat raffle. Yeah, yeah, Sarah.
Well, I still have my motivation to seek out Martin.
Yeah,
So,
he'd totally be at the fair. That's not creepy. Yes.
no, I just love the idea that like he was standing behind me in the grocery store and I just walked out.
Yeah.
Missed it.
It feels very. Have you seen Broadchurch or like those kinds of like yeah, like British whodunits? It feels very British like murder mysteries. Like he was here the whole time. I love it. So we got cool some scenes with Martin at the fair. Alex, do you have further thoughts?
It's real hard. Words are hard.
They are hard.
Maybe something about family motivation is get the family to go on a ride. I'm trying to think what could go wrong with trying to get the family on a ride.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to go wrong. I feel like it's gonna go wrong because your parents are very like repressed. So,
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I ran out of like makeup on the day of the fair. There's not enough time to go out and get more.
Ooh. Ooh, that's almost good enough for me to, I feel like, give you a plot point for it. If that's a conflict you would like to establish, like around family acceptance, like.
Yeah, I'm down. Give me all of the bad things. I'm ready.
I feel like that could be a conflict around like seek acceptance for parents, or like get parents to like see me, what feels appropriate for you.
Yeah, just like the whole accepting the past. Like
Yeah.
This is us now, and we've gotta move forward.
Aw, awesome. Yes, so please take a plot point. And I will just remember I'll bold it. So I remember that big bad things should happen because that is the conflict I set up. I feel like that I should have done that in the scene, but I don't care. Collaboration and communication is important.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. Barry, have you had other?
Yeah, I think I got it. I think I mean my motivation was play nice and go to church, not necessarily something else. So I think that probably at the fair I probably will be like handing out pamphlets, and like that is probably like there. I think that like if I ran into like Regina at that might be like a good entrance for the crossing the threshold.
Yeah.
That could work. So
that could work. We could even have that. I was going to ask as well, like, would you like to call that scene with Regina, or like, would you like to say you bump into Connor or Liam or like another PC while you're handing out pamphlets? What is interesting for you?
I like the idea of Liam, because like Liam's is like the cause that is like being taken up in this community. I also don't. I really like Connor, and I don't want to go another session and not have a scene with Ryan. I promise
What?
we are
You
not. I
didn't
know.
get the memo that I refuse to speak to you in character? You're not cool enough.
I'm the worst. It's all my fault. Um, so I don't know. Like I'm open to whatever people think is cool for that. If we like, I'm thinking of it in terms of like wanting to figure like how do we close the chapter, and if that's not what we're ready to do, then that's also cool with me. So
we can also, when it comes time to it, say like Regina is also there.
Sure. Well, and that could work with either Regina or Liam, I think, for this like for what I have in mind. So
Perfect. Yes.
Cool.
Awesome. That sounds super cool. It sounds like it'll be a good kind of like climactic kind of thing to end the chapter on. So
okay, cool.
We can suss out how the spare is going, and then yes, ramp into there potentially. So I think like I feel like yeah, I think perhaps we'll kick off with Ash again, since that sounds like a like we ramped up to like some like, oh god, foreshadowed future badness with our potential killer, and then like, and now it's back to sad feels. So yeah, Ash, what do you take? What? I'm so curious. What did you have in mind for this scene? How does the scene begin? I have ideas, but I just wanted, if you have scene setting.
I don't have anything strongly in mind. I was thinking something like the shocked confrontation of the parents.
Oh yeah, so like say perhaps like you end up meeting them there because you're like, oh shit, like I don't have my boots on, I can't find the boots, and then you come like, oh yeah, I mean, what does it look like? What does it look you getting to the fate then? Like late to meet your family.
Oh, I think there's probably like a bus or a shuttle running from the center of town, and we just see that drive by as like Ash is walking there because what are my pronouns? You can't deal with like dealing with the people on the bus or like in society without the moose on.
Oh. I mean, yeah, we get a shot of like your family. There's like Xavier. You have a mom and a dad, or you should ask what your parents' pronouns are as well.
Oh goodness, I'm running low on the pronouns. Seen that is a good one. I'm very tempted. Seen Faye Fair before? F-A-E-R.
F-A-E-F-E-R.
F-A-E-R.
Oh, F-A-E-R. F-A-E-F-A-E-R.
Yes.
Excellent. That is lovely. And what is oh Jesus Christ, what is fair name? I'm embarrassed of myself for being unable to pronoun.
This is gonna be a really hard family to talk about. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm very happy though. This is very
all of the pronouns are like one letter off.
This is very clear. Yeah, what is fair name?
Let's go for Elliot.
Elliot, nice. And you have two parents?
Yes.
What is the other one's name? And pronouns.
Go for Riley.
Riley, nice. And what are their parents?
Goodness, let's go for the other Ziza. I can't remember what we put down for
yeah.
Finn,
like,
but we can use the Yeah, the Z,
Like-
ZER.
Oh, Z-E, Z-E-R. These are... They're pronounced differently to... they pronounce similarly as Zezer and Zezer.
I'm pretty sure they pronounce the same.
Okay,
I just ran out of ideas.
it's totally cool. I was sort of check before I bludgeoned everything. Parents. Excellent. Cool. So yeah, so we see you like hurrying towards like the fate. You haven't gotten on the bus because like you felt a bit self-conscious about wearing no makeup, and we see like Xavier, Finn, Elliot, and Riley kind of like huddled a little bit around probably like a Ferris wheel that isn't super impressive. Like it goes pretty high. You get a good shot of like the rest of the township from here, but it's very quaint. And you see like Elliot like taking like a fair watch, and this like you can tell they like Faye leans in, and you get that shot of like chattering. It's like they're like, oh gosh, like where's Ash, and how do you approach them?
Oh, I think there's like wearing a hoodie on my way there. And I was like trying like turning my face away as much as possible, be like, hey, sorry I'm late.
And do we get a shot of like your unmakeuped face, or are you trying to like shrug?
I think we see like half of it because I can't like talk to them and just look away completely.
Oh, and I think like Riley catches sight first, and like you see Riley like physically tighten and like seize up a bit, and like look away in shock, and they probably like Z like puts a hand up almost like their temple to protect like their vision from you, and I think Elliot likewise is like has that satchel. I don't know, Elliot. Xavier has that satchel bag, and like a hand protectively goes to that like wrench again, and Elliot, I think Elliot looks at you and says like, "What are you doing?"
What do you mean? I'm here for the fair. It's a family, right?
Elliot like takes a step closer, like leans in very close to you, and says like, what is this? This isn't you.
I think Ash like turns away even more and is like, I ran out, okay?
I think like Elliot like looks around like to see who else is like watching this. And there perhaps are like a couple of passers-by who have just like stopped because there's families fighting and people rubbernecking in this town. And Elliot says, how do you expect us to be a family if you won't look like Ash? You aren't Ash right now.
I mean, it's just a layer of makeup, right? Everything else looks the same.
Everything's not the same, Ash. Everything has changed. I think like Elliot even looks to Xavier and said, you promised us everything would be better. You promised us everything would be fixed, and like this is clearly not the case. And Elliot like puts a comforting hand on like Riley's shoulder, and Riley's still very much having a hard time looking at you.
I mean, we can still go to the fair. I mean, they won't stop us, right?
And Xavier, I think, steps in and comes between you and Elliot. And it's like, look, I can fix this. I'll go find some moose. I'm sure there's someone around who is bound to have some spare. We can borrow it, and then we can just like get on with our lives and be a family again. Isn't that what we all want? And looks to like Ash.
Do we really need it?
And like Xavier looks to like your parents. Ooh. I'm just gonna check what is our conflict wording again. Get family to accept past. Do you feel like this? Do you feel like we're hitting on that character conflict for this scene?
Oh.
Or would you like to angle it that way by like saying something that'll trigger that conflict? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm me, and I've changed, but I'm still Ash. You know, like,
Yeah.
Finn's gone.
Rub it in their faces. Oh, what's a good like one-liner? Maybe just something like my outside has changed, but it's still me inside. It's still the same old Ash.
Aw. I'm gonna cry because this is accepting a conflict. So that sounds lovely. It sounds like we're hitting on and get family to accept past. Let's look at the moves. So are you befriending your family?
I think I am.
Yeah. Why didn't you roll 2d6 plus personality?
It's an 8.
An 8.
Plus 2.
That's a 10, right?
That is a 10.
So interestingly, again, even though you got a 10, because it was a conflict I set up, I get narrative control. But you... We hope I'm doing that right. On a 10 plus, I just noticed it doesn't say anything about getting arc on a 10 plus, which is odd. Because you think that would be like, you get arc plus narrative control.
It's in the if rolling against an NPC on the character keeper.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Oh,
this is flag moves get one arc. Maybe I don't.
Maybe you don't. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess you don't get an arc. Which feels weird, because this feels like a very defining moment for Ash, but oh well. Yeah, so I think like you get a 10, so get to like, yeah. So you say like I'm Ash, like I haven't changed, I'm still me. And I think you see like Riley like bites your lip as you say that and like tears up a fair amount and is like has like sort of like trying very hard to like keep it in. And Elliot like has the resigned parent shoulders of like, yeah, like you're right. Like we can't deny the fact that you're our child. And there's that palpable silence, like as your parents like regard you for who you are and like take you in and like all of your like naked undead face. And Xavier like reaches into like airbag and pulls out like some foundation and is like, look, it's not like the moves that you're used to, but this might do, just to keep everyone happy. Can I put it on you?
Sure.
And then like Xavier like takes like the foundation, and we sort of like we see them like rub it like over your forehead, like over your cheeks and stuff. And it's not perfect. Like we still get like the very pale sort of panda eyes around there, and you still have like the pinprick undead eyes, and your lips now are very like the same color as like the rest of you. But like Xavier steps back and looks to your parents and it's like can we please just to be a family and move on. And Elliot and Riley like look at you, and Elliot squeezes like Riley's shoulder, and like Riley like nods and tries to like cover the fact that they've been crying. Is there anything else you want to do in that scene?
I think we just see like a brushing the makeup off the lips and then turning towards the fair.
Yes, I love it. Awesome. I'm not gonna cry. That is gorgeous. Cool. You overcame that complex. We're able to get crossed off. So we've made steps towards your family kind of accepting the past a little bit. I feel like it's gonna be a very long road, but we're getting there. Excellent. I think now what's a cool scene? Let's have oh god. Let's have Liam and not Liam, sorry, Connor and Thomas. Like that'd be a good bit of awkward levity to brighten the mood. So did you have a scene in mind for the where this Thomas Connor conversation happens? It's like Thomas like nervously like waiting for you, kind of like jumping around a little bit to keep warm, wearing like his coolest jacket, and like totally not done hair that he didn't spend like an hour on.
I mean, it is now because that's perfect. So, yeah, and Connor totally has his moose on and everything, and like comfy, maybe like slate blue sweater or something where it's casual but not too casual, but kind of warm. But also, do you really need to be super warm when you're already dead? Partially dead.
And Thomas is like, you can tell it from a distance. He's like keeping an eye out for you, and looking a bit nervous. And then when he catches your eye, like he goes a bit wide eyed and like brightens up. And I think he bounds the short distance towards you to like meet you halfway. And his like hands are stuffed in his pockets because he's a little bit chilly. And he's like, hey, like good to see you.
You too.
How it's pretty chilly out tonight, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cold. But hey, you're here and I'm here, and I guess like I'm like Liam's like here.
I didn't see him yet, but I guess I didn't look inside and kind of craning around, trying to see if Liam's like around.
Is Liam around?
A corner. There probably aren't even any corners for Liam to be hiding around.
Off, like further down, whatever, with the others.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yes, take it off, and Alex. That's good.
And like every so often, I'll like just look.
And I think like Thomas like says like, so like what do you want to do? Like we could I think he even says like we could go and like get some candy floss, and then realizes like you can't eat. It's like we could do some rides or something, but it's like coconut shine, like that kind of stuff. Like, what do you into?
I mean, you can get some candy floss if you want. I mean, I don't mind you eating.
It wouldn't be like awkward.
No, I mean, I'm used to it.
Yeah, then let's like go get some candy floss and like, what do you? I mean, that's what I want to do. Like, what do you want to do?
I mean, I never really thought I'd have to figure out what I wanted to do at one of these again. So, um, I don't know,
Oh,
just kind of. I mean, being here's weird enough, in kind of a good way. Oh no, I'm not making any sense. Sorry.
no, I totally get it. Like, it's kind of a bit weird. Like, you're right. It's like very much the same, but then it's like really different, and we sort of get like a shot of like a couple of HVF, like human volunteer forces who are in their uniform, who like presumably the um local council have asked us to just to be there just in case, like just in case anything happens. So like you get a bit of like the presence of the rising in there, but yeah, it's pretty much all the same. Um, I think like Thomas goes to like walk and step with you towards Candy Floss and like sort of awkwardly, purposefully like brushes his elbow against yours. Not quite sure if he wants to like take your hand or like loop his arm around yours, or he's just not sure what he like is appropriate.
Yeah, and Connor kind of not really flinches, but looks like he's not really sure how to react to that or anything, and just kind of leaves a hand in like his pants pocket or something, where he's like, "There's no logical place to put them, but I don't know, whatever. Where do you put your hands? Hands are terrible."
And then like Liam like feels the nudge like not quite reciprocated and sort of
Liam's
like
not here.
oh sorry Liam, sorry Thomas. Names. All these names. Yeah, sorry, Thomas like feels the nudge isn't quite reciprocated and isn't quite sure like what to do next. So kind of like brings his elbow back to himself and keeps him tucked a little bit into his sides, hands still firmly in his pockets, and he seems like desperately searching for a conversation.
Connor likewise is sort of desperately searching for what is a logical conversation. He's like, "So how have you been?"
Um,
It's been a while.
Good. Yeah, it has been a while. I mean, kind of same old as much as things can be the same old. Um, I mean, I mean, like Dad's running for local council again. Um, uh, but I mean, like, he always does. Like, Rising wouldn't stop him. So, I mean, our house is a bit nuts with all that stuff, like campaign posters and that kind of thing. And Dad's always like out pretty late, talking to the parish, canvassing. Um, but yeah, I mean, how about you?
I sort of same old. I mean, I'm working at the store now, and
Yeah. Um, I heard like well, I mean, um, like some ooh, never mind. Um, work's going good.
yeah, I'm fine. And I don't know how to go about like coming up to it, so I guess I'll just start there. But yeah, sorry for everything.
What do you mean?
I mean, I kind of blew you off and left town suddenly. It seems like maybe apologies were important.
Oh, I mean, it's totally fine. Like we're cool. Um, And he's just like very much avoiding talking about his feelings.
He just kind of nods a little, like, that's weird, but okay.
I mean, um, like, well, I think like he exchanges like some coins for like a candy floss, like takes candy floss as he's like considering that and pops like a piece into his mouth. Like, I mean, well, uh, I'm not gonna lie, it was like pretty caught off about that. Like he just kind of left, and next thing I heard, you were dead.
Yeah, it's weird being back. It's like people are trying to snip out that whole middle bit. Like I
Yeah.
just never left. It kind of felt like that with you at first, but I guess maybe not.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get heavy. Like it's unfair, but did you ever think about me like after you left? I mean, like, did you think about coming back?
And you can see him start to respond to the first part of that, and when the second part hits, he just kind of stops. He's like, I mean, I thought about you sometimes, but I never thought about coming back.
So, like, in an ideal world, you wouldn't choose to be here. Like, you're stuck here. Like, you didn't want to be stuck here in the first place.
It's not an ideal world, though. I mean, gotta do makeup every morning.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a pain.
Sorry, I'm making a mess of all of this. Sorry.
Um, I mean, I think he puts like an elbow, a shoulder, a hand on your elbow. It's like it's okay. I mean, what? I think we're all just trying to make the best of like a really bad situation, but like stalls and takes another piece of like cotton candy. It's like, but um, I don't know. I just what I said back then before you left, like I mean it now as well. You know, like if you want to go again, um, you know, you should do that. I mean, I don't know if you feel different now, but it doesn't sound like you want to be here.
I don't think what I want matters right now. I think I kind of need to be here for a while.
Well, I don't want to like push myself on you or like make you feel like you owe me anything, but I just want you to know that I'm here for you during that time. And and um I don't know. You see him like get a bit like red-eared. And just like, because I mean, I still really like you, and that's not changed since then, and it feels weird because you were gone and then now you're back, and it just opened up all those feelings again. Um, oh my god, please stop me from talking. I need to stop talking right now.
I'm just looking at a list of moves. Like, there's none that's the so. Do you try attempt to make emotional connections with people or not? But, but yeah, I think we could see Connor sort of weighing the. Weighing the. So, do I immediately say, "Hey, look, a distraction," or do I attempt to have a conversation or something?
um, I could see you trying to like navigate others if you wanted to like give him some guidance on like where you see this, where you see things are at with you two. Um, if you wanted to, if you're seeking to like let a move dictate where the outcome is headed.
Oh my goodness, Barry.
Or it could be like satiating a need, like your need to maintain harmony or like emotional stability, or um or it could not be a move. I was just putting the
Yeah.
options out there.
I know the game says that it's okay to go on forever without ever making moves, but I feel like a game wants moves to be made, so I should be looking at what's
Yeah,
available.
I feel that tension as well. Yeah, but I think so. Like um, yeah. So like Thomas like does the I really like you. Oh my god, like I and that's weird and like strange, and I haven't finished processing it yet. But I just um need to say that because, and I know you don't feel the same way, and you made it really clear when you left. I feel like really bad bringing it up now, and um I don't want to put an obligation on you, but if you're here for a while, I don't know. I like spend time with you, like whatever that looks like.
I mean, it's not it. It's not like I never liked you or anything. It's. Did mom and dad tell you much anything about what happened?
No, they just they didn't.
I don't spread around or anything. I've got to have my pride, you know? But
Yeah,
it's. It's not like I was shot or even, like helicopter accident or anything. It was just heat exhaustion, 60 kilos hiking, and it's been so hot in the summers, and I just couldn't hack it. And I guess I know there's no point in me going because I can't. So
what do you mean you can't?
I,
You're
I
great.
tried, and look how that turned out. So, I mean, it'd be nice to, know people here.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't plan to come back, but I didn't plan for any of this to happen.
yeah,
I mean, I didn't plan to be rabid for a few months either. I mean, this all kind of fell apart.
yeah. We all lost a lot in it in the rising. But I just um want to let you know that, like, I don't know if it's like a can't as in you don't feel like you can't, or if it's like a you can't. But I just what I'm trying to say is I think you can do anything. And I mean, I'm not surprised that it was eating exhaustion because like I remember gym class, like neither of us was like excited to run around like the school field and like the height of summer in Nuneaton. Um, but I just no that thank you for trusting me with that. And I just but if you want to achieve, I want to make sure that you get there because you've been given a second chance, and it would be a shame to waste that. I managed to believe in you.
Yeah, thanks.
Good scene.
Yeah, I think at that point is probably gonna veer off like, oh wait, I think I see somebody here. Just like thinly veiled excuse to not talk
Not
anymore.
talk anymore. Nice. Yeah, excellent. And yeah, let's check in with like Liam. What does Liam have in mind for
I mean, just hanging out with people. I also kind of did want to have a scene with Eddie.
Let's do it. What scene would you like to have with Eddie?
Well, if he's handing out pamphlets, like I think my first thought is going to be, oh, those are mine, of course.
Yeah.
You got to take one. You around, Barry?
I can give him a moment. I think that sounds good because I think that'll nicely like lend itself towards like the scene Barry like had in mind as well. So that sounds like a cool.
But first, I give Thomas thumbs up from the far end of the aisle.
He gives you like
yeah.
He gives you like he hesitates for a moment and then it's like, yes.
I shout, inconclusive.
Oh, I love that.
And kind of glances over like, what the heck? And probably gets a like nothing from Thomas.
Excellent. Yes, did you catch that Barry scene with Eddie?
Yes, I did.
Mm. So I'm happy. Like, yeah, Liam. Please feel free to frame up the scene and how you approach Eddie handing out pamphlets. And I will sit back.
So yeah, like that was a fairly long conversation that you had with Thomas. So I think we'd like wander around, come back, and then like thumbs up, thumbs down, wander off again. Where would you be with the pamphlets? We will run into you there.
I'm trying to like visualize the size of this fair, and I think it's. I mean, this is not. It's the whole town, but it's not big, right? This is a handful of carnival rides and games and that sort of thing, right? So it's not gigantic, but I think I think I'm near the entrance to the fairgrounds, and I think that probably it's a lot of I think Eddie is trying to move towards people and just say local elections coming soon, and try to hand it out, and having no luck putting this stuff into people's hands. This is very much like the here you throw this away a mode of pamphleteering.
So the people who do take them just
it's 10 paces away, and when they get their when they get their cotton candy or whatever, they're like just tossing it away with that. Maybe the local electorate's like way more into it. I don't know, but I could see people like taking this and like they don't know who this guy is that's handing this stuff out, and like, why am I going to look at this? Like, if it was coming from someone that they know, they might flip it open, they might give it a look, but as is, like, my heart's not in peddling it, other than like I said I'd do it, so I'll do it. And I don't know if people are actually interested in it. So.
Okay. I take one. Just like rock up. Do you say do you give your spiel?
Yeah. I'll I think I've moved on to really checking out like my shoes. With this whole thing, like, it's already demoralizing to have to hand out this stuff that is not. I would, even if I could vote, I don't know if I would vote for anyone in here. But like, these people have it. These people can, like, they can choose who they want to represent them, and they don't even care. And so like, I think that I've gotten just sullen, and so it takes me a second to realize, oh wait, you're Liam.
You'll have better luck with these. And I hand you some different pamphlets.
Oh yes. And so these are the ones with like the ULA stuff at the bottom, right? I mean, I heard about what happened to you.
Well, good.
Sorry.
More people need to know. Dude, it's fine. Like, well, it's not fine, obviously, but I mean, anyway.
If people are just gonna throw it away anyway, I might as well like get them some of this real shit.
And like, maybe pick out people who you can, like us.
Yeah. And like, now that I have I've got something that I feel like I haven't made a connection with anyone until this moment. Like, you took an interest in what I was doing, and came out and brought, like, you brought me something to do, which is like not like A plus in Eddie's work, but like, if the people of Nuneaton are already not like, if they're not going to engage with what they like have and live with every day, then let's show them some real shit. So I think Eddie's tone like changes from like that sullen shoegaze to like I think he's not quite Carnival Barker, but definitely important issues in your community, and like, I'll try and press those into people's hands.
Yeah, just like punches your shoulder a little bit.
So this is like the ULA pamphlets you're handing out now?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Ooh. Yeah. Then I totally think like yeah, okay, this is cool. So like, I think like at first people are like, oh, like, what is like the living, or like, oh, like, what is this? And I take one from you, and then like look a bit afraid, like they don't want to give it back to you. They're frightened, but they will take it, and then like they like likewise kind of like end up in the bin. But there's a lot more like
I stand there like judging them as they do this.
and you see like sort of the whispers of like, oh, and then like pointing in your direction and stuff. And then I think like you, if you're okay with a little like a few minutes passing, like Mrs. Green like comes like sort of bustling up to the two of you, and yeah, and she looks at particularly at Eddie, and it's like,
Oh, hey, Mrs. Green. I
Oh.
ran out of pamphlets. I gave every single one of them away.
oh bless you. That is thank you so much for doing like the Lord's work. That is what is this?
Oh, just seemed like something else that was really important. I mean, you talked a lot about how the council has like the needs of people with PDS in mind, and I don't know if you've met Liam, but Liam has some. Liam, this is Mrs. Green, and Liam has like.
I shake her hand.
She like, you feel her like shiver a bit because your hand is like quite cold to the touch, and lean back a smidge, but she smiles through it like, hello. Sorry, Eddie.
Well, I wanted to make sure that that my voice is heard. That's what you said was important, right?
Oh, yes, sweetheart. It is so important that your voice is heard. And of course, my heart goes out to Liam. That was very awful what happened, but you can't be handing around political material like this at events like the fair. It's just not on.
Wait, I can't hand out what? Where?
Oh, this material is very clearly has a rather extreme political stance, and I don't think this is quite the appropriate space to be handing it out.
Well,
I think Liam's mouth just kind of like opens and closes, like, sorry, what?
Mrs. Green, Liam got murdered. That's an extreme political stance.
No. I want to know about these political pamphlets you were handing out before for the literal fucking election.
And Mrs. Green looks at Eddie. Like, you have my back, right?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Green is looking to me to back her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
That's good.
Conflict?
It sounds like a conflict, yeah.
Well, they were really popular. They all went really fast.
Sorry.
We see them on the ground.
Oh yeah, like there's
it was at least as popular a stance as what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, it feels like you're hitting on like the local politics, like sitting conflict.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and what do you you are also
I'm going to condemn someone.
You're because it's for a reference. You could, if you wanted to make this like an arc switch, you could like take a moral stand. But if I'm just like that's on the table. But if you want to condemn her, you can also condemn her. It's up to you.
Well, she's such a hypocrite, is the thing, and I'm not ready to rise. I need to fall farther. So
okay, let's do it.
Cool. So as a falling move, I would roll morality, but because I'm falling, I roll the worst of instinct and personality. So that is -1 for this.
Oh my gosh.
So I need 2d6, and I'll give them a label, because why not? And I want a color. I'll make them silver. No, I'll make them turquoise. So that is a 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the conflict is still in play, but it was sitting one, so they will just remain in play. You receive a -1 arc, and it was against an NPC. Oh, you can re-roll, by the way, by spending a plot point if you would like to.
I'm gonna hang on to it for now.
Excellent. So yes, so what do you say to her to condemn her?
Well, I'll say, it was all well and good for me to be handing out political materials when it's people that don't want people like me to vote and don't care if people like me get murdered. But as soon as we ask for one thing, as soon as it's time to hear our voice, then it's radical. Fuck you, lady.
Yeah, sorry. It is like Lauren is so happy about that. I think like you see Mrs. Green though, like she takes that curse word like strong on the chin, right? And she pinches her lips in this sort of kind of like old person way. And again, like pulls her bag a little bit like a closer to her like a shield, but her shoulders sort of like lower and raise a bit as she sort of like leans up to face you. And she says, well, such a shame that you take such a stance towards members of the community who are just trying to see right by everyone here, and
right by almost everyone here.
Yes, Lucy did tell me that you were looking for a spot at her pub, and I was going to give you the utmost recommendation because you have so far been such an upstanding citizen, handing out pamphlets and bringing that voice to the community here for all of us. But I really, the right person to be serving the community was that foul mouth of yours.
And I think what I'll do if Liam will let me is I'll grab Liam's hand and I'll be like, let's get out of here. Tell me about this, and I'll like point at the ULA thing on the pamphlet.
And I think you see like Mrs. Green likewise like will leave before you can meet her, and you see her sort of go into like the communal embrace of like the onlookers who are watching that, like, and you definitely see Lucy like shake her head at you like, oh. And yes, please, if you would like to continue a scene with Liam, you can do that. We can also end it there. Whatever you guys had in mind.
I was okay with cutting there, but Sarah, did you have anything in mind?
I did, but the timing isn't quite right anymore.
What did you have in your mind?
I just wanted to ask him about what do you remember from your time as a rabid undead?
We can totally have
like talk about that a bit, but I think we need to like get away from this.
Yeah, I think I'm totally happy. I think this will be like our last scene before like we wrap up. So I'm totally cool with like a bit of a time skip buffer to like where you've got some quiet time like in the fair. There's like that ambience of like people having fun and like the like the carnival fate stuff going on while you guys are having a conversation. So please feel free to frame your scene.
Okay, so like we've probably wandered past everyone at this point. Probably Ash we passed, and Connor again, and then like the other people that I came here with are out there somewhere. Do you want to stop by like the, I don't know, carnival games where we have that awful music?
Yeah, that works.
So yeah, still kind of like, dude, that was awesome.
It felt really good. I mean, well, we'll deal with that later, but it felt really good.
What, like trouble?
I mean, I haven't been here that long. I assume trouble, but whatever. There's more important things than that. And I'll try and toss a ring onto the bottle or onto one of the bottles or something as we're like.
So yeah, these people, the sorry, what are they called? Yeah, ULA.
Oh, the ULA. Yeah.
ULA. Okay. Yeah, they have like meetings and stuff, and like I talked to her name was Regina. I don't know. I met her at the shop, But she told me a bit about it, and they have meetings and are all about like finding our place in the world, like making people accept us. I don't know. I'm super into it.
That sounds amazing. Like when I was getting out of treatment and getting released, they told me that we'd be reintegrated, but no one, like, I haven't even reintegrated with my dad, and like I haven't found a single person here that they don't understand. They keep saying it's the same, but it's not the same.
You get all these people just like talking about it, you know, like, yeah, we accept you, whatever, but then you get shit like this.
Exactly. That is, we got to go to this. I'm really
totally,
glad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really glad that you came by. And I'm keep tossing rings, and like if the like, I presume that the guy running the ring toss is living, and
yeah, fair assumption.
And like I'll assure them that my money is still just as good, and
yeah, I don't think Liam's paying attention to like the game at all. He's too involved in the conversation.
Right. Well, I mean, like,
you're probably missing every one.
This is what you can do with your hands when you're having an awkward
instead of eating cotton candy, we throw these rings.
I'm terrible at it.
Coordination shot, reflexes.
Right. You said something before we started the scene about like wanting to talk about like the like what it's like, what kinds of things I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're kind of leaning toward that anyway.
I would kind of, maybe this is me like not being prepared for that part, but
I don't think they addressed it at all in the show, so this is just like whatever we feel like.
Okay. I don't really want to go into detail about it, but like I've got like two notes that I think would hit with this. And then like maybe if we open our next scene, or like if we open a scene next week with like a little bit of detail or something, then that would work for me if that works for you. But like
yeah, I'm not looking to get into like super heavy.
No.
Just like,
but like from the you took a gap year, but you didn't go to university because you were murdered. Correct?
I was going to take a gap year.
Okay.
And then I got murdered.
Okay. So I think that Eddie's Eddie, the way that Eddie is trying to connect with you over this is like he talks about he talks about when he was 19 and just getting.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay.
And just like getting pissed every night, and like having some nights that he doesn't, plenty of nights that he just doesn't remember and can't account for, and like people would tell him the things that he did, and this is like that, but like no one will tell him the things that he did, just that it
yeah,
just that there's a debt and a weight.
Yeah, I just get like flashes of things, like I'm walking down the aisle in the supermarket shit, and it's just like this weird, like I've been here before, but it was different, and you get like this weird kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Fuck, I could go for a drink.
I haven't since. I don't think it does the same stuff.
It does some of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Well, ask Lucy.
They've got to have something around here. Is there, I don't know, a beer stall at this carnival?
There totally can be.
Or
Yeah.
like just even like a food court where they do, what do they call it? Those funnel cakes.
Oh yeah. The funnel cakes. Yeah, totally. Basically that. There could also be a beer stall if you want that to be a thing. It is rural England.
Okay, we can. That's a good.
A good.
Yeah, that works for me for a cut.
Oh, awesome. That was lovely. I feel like that would be a good time to. I feel like we hit on crossing the threshold there in terms of like a couple of people finding like a side on the political line. I feel like that happened. How are people feeling for
I was going to give
Sure,
myself
me
a
too.
thumbs up, but that was my idea, so
That's good.
I'm not going to vote twice.
You're meant to like angle into it, so like yeah, please don't feel. Sorry, but Sarah, I cut you off. What were you saying, Sarah?
Oh, just it feels like we've gotten further along. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. So I think it might be appropriate to let's like close out that chapter, that scene of like happy. Oh yeah, actually, from each of you, what's like the last like sort of moment montage we see of you as like this episode closes out? Oh, oh yes. If you have a thing, jump in.
So I think that if we get a beer, if we get a drink, which is a bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. I spill some on myself, and I go to wipe it off, and my makeup smears on my forearm.
Perfect. What are other people's like closing moments really we see before the credits roll?
I think this is after like we're heading home, and like it's starting to get dark, and like people are starting to leave. It's gotten a lot quieter, and Liam just like kind of pauses at the edge of the fairground, just like looks off at like all the lights starting to get shut off, and it's just this moment where like it's at the end of it, it's just dark.
Nice. To basically the foreshadowing, like yeah, silhouette of Martin, like just as it goes like boom, like completely dark.
Sure. He's standing under the last light.
Yeah. Ryan or Alex? It's our last montage, like closing moment for the episode for Connor and Ash.
I think we see Ash's family like get onto a Ferris wheel. Ash is like, nah, I'm good. And they just hit on up without and then like a pamphlet blows in from the side. You see Ash pick up the ULA meeting, like Liam was murdered poster, and look up at the family in the Ferris wheel.
I think I know where we're gonna start next time. And Connor. Oh my God, Connor, you're gonna take Oh, I should not ask the question. Take Thomas to the ULA meeting.
I wasn't planning to, because that sounds like a really bad idea.
You're supposed to get to know more about your, like hobbies and your life and stuff. Because
Yes, my hobbies are having PDS and talking to people about how that makes me feel.
Yes. Sorry, I cut you off. Like, what is that?
No, that was worth cutting me off for, because what the heck? Yeah, I think probably we see like just a series of like quick cuts of like Connor walking Thomas home and then getting back to his house, and the lights are on. He just kind of sighs and opens the door, and his parents are sitting up like totally not waiting to see when he gets in, but also the oh my goodness, did Connor have a date? And he's just like, I'm not dealing with this right now. It kind of goes into his room and pulls the little ripped off bit of the flyer out and kind of smooths it out a bit and just leaves it on the nightstand as he goes to wipe off his makeup.
Beautiful. It makes you like the credits roll and like the Keaton Henson totally plays on like the over top of that, right? Like it's ooh. Oh, I'm blanking on a good one. Keaton Henson plays as the credits roll. Cool. We'll do some chapter close down. Where is the list of stuff to do at the end of the chapter? There we go. So at the start of each chapter. Oh, cool. So there is another chapter close down. We pick it up. I'll do it now though because otherwise I'll forget. Sorry, this is me thinking out loud. We'll do it now. So each character gets an additional plot point. We'll do new motivations at the start of the next chapter, and protagonists of the novel that successfully completed the chapter move all receive the same arc changes their move provided. Chapter moves are when a single character successfully confronts a conflict and resolves it in the way the chapter defines. The story can move into the next chapter. Oh, and all the novel characters protect. Okay. If the move and narrative represent a chapter move, the novel moves into the next chapter, and all the novel characters' protagonists receive the same arc adjustment. Rough. That is weird. Oh god, I got mascara in my eye. Bad timing. Oh, I think it's a little like odd mutual exclusivity in the way that the chapter was written in the paragraph prior, how it's written in like the start of chapter stuff. Yeah, we're whole villains now because it says protagonist of the novel character that successfully completed the chapter move all receive the same arc changes their move provided. So that sounds to me like if you triggered a move, I feel like because I'm not being a good playtester and I'm picking this up as I go. Let's deal with this one like at the start of the next chapter. I feel like I know what I want to do, but I think it's different to like how the rules are written. So I'll check in with like Christopher Gray, and then we'll deal with it at the start of the next chapter. Excellent. Do people have time to hang on for stars and wishes? I know it's super late for Sarah. Excellent. Awesome. Let's say feel free to do stars and then your wishes. Let's just do a good one and done. I feel bad for always taking out Alex. Let's do Barry. What are your stars and wishes?
Cool. I'm on my computer now, so if I get robot-y, tell me and I'll push my button and turn the camera off. I wrote down a bunch of stars because I love the hard time not just issuing them. So I'm gonna do it until someone tells me to stop. The scene with Connor and Regina was amazing. The scene with Connor and Thomas was amazing. The scene with Connor and Liam was amazing. The scene with Ash and Elliot was amazing. The scene with Ash and Xavier was amazing. I fucking love this game. Oh my god. I can't be specific to that right now. I can't wait to watch this again to be able to say exactly why I love all of those because it was I can't believe that we only have one of these left. No idea how we're gonna like close this out. This is so fucking good. God damn it. Wishes. The I am really we are getting canceled after one season. I am entirely okay with just going maybe I hit a reason to be redeemed. I don't know if I do. I'm fine with not doing that. I hope to not take everyone down with me. That seems like that would be bad. I don't know if I'm playing the type correctly because of that. Maybe James is much better naive outsider than I am, but I don't know if there's an archetype for me. But my personality when falling is divisive, and I'm doing okay with that. So I really want to I want to see how far down it goes, and if I have I don't know if I'll have a chance at redemption. But I'm fine being the fall guy here, so I love it.
Awesome. Let's do Sarah. What are your stars and wishes?
Mostly for Barry. In particular, after yesterday, it was very nice to just have someone throw their weight behind me. So thanks for that. Yeah, the game, I feel like I'm still getting a hold of the mechanics. There are some parts that are confusing and that don't quite work the way I want them to. But story-wise, everything's excellent.
Awesome. Let's go for Ryan. What are your stars and wishes?
Man, I always start with that, so I'm gonna try not to give stars to everybody, and then I'm always like, fuck it, Sid, you don't make the rules. I mean, you did, but also, fuck it. So, star for Eddie. I really liked the whole, but this isn't fair and everything. And then also, now I'm gonna swear at a church lady. And also, just the scene of handing people a flyer and then taking 2 steps and tossing it out, because I can just see it. It's too real. I love it. And stars for sure to Liam for there's just an intensity about the way he's kind of desperately attacking the storyline about his murder, and no, we must yell at church ladies. We must get this cat food right now. Everything seems like it's a big deal, and I love that. Which is appropriate, I suppose. And now I'm like, oh no, I'm leaving out Alex. But Alex is awesome, and Ash is too. And someday maybe, I will speak in character, or interact in character, with Ash or Eddie. But it may not happen, so I'm not going to make that a wish, because I want them to be achievable. I think my main wish for the system is that I'd like to get it, because I feel like when I start to get it, then this time around I was going, oh, I think I got an old version of it, and now I'm not really sure what changed. Help. And it's confusing. And I want there to be awesome Eula, whatever. I can't not see that as end user license agreement stuff next time. With this not quite support group, but also radicalization group. I don't know what's going on. It's gonna be cool.
Excellent. And Alex, stars wishes.
So quick run through. Barry stars cussing out an old lady. I'm sure that other stuff happened in this game, but that's it's gonna stick with me. Lauren playing all the NPCs so well. I was like, man, this is gonna be a tough scene, because 3 members of my family are interacting with me at the same time, but you did it awesomely. It was awesome. Nice job. That's for Ryan and that. Connor and Thomas scene. Pretty sure the name is Thomas, might be James, might be Liam. I'm not sure anymore. That was awesome. And that's William for like the hiding behind barrels thumbs up. That's a highlight for me. Wishes for next time. I am down to talk in character with both Ryan and Sarah. It will maybe happen one day. I'm sure of it. I said it as a wish, so now it has to come true.
Yes, I made note of that. I have so many. Oh my gosh, no, so many stars for you all. Oh man, feeling the bleed for family scenes about like not talking about feelings and shit with all of Ash's family. So that was really interesting playing out that fake awful family who doesn't accept you because our family is super great and very accepting. And stars for making like all of the pronouns happen. I love that. I love that family so much. I have so many like questions about like how great that family is, and then oh geez, you think a family of like lovely queer people like that would be more accepting, but I guess they have a lot of hangups. And yeah, oh my gosh, like all the stars to Barry for playing like Eddie. I think like Eddie, it's really great to see him find a place, like several places actually in this chapter, especially after like he kind of like came in as and had like a bit of like a character change up with like James was Eddie, and I think like he owned this session as Eddie, and it was really great to see you like try and integrate into like the parish community, and then be like, oh fuck that, and like just have that turnabout like in this chapter. And yeah, thank you for swearing at Mrs. Green. That was such a good scene. Oh my gosh, I've never been happier to like be sworn at like in a game. And yeah, I just all the stars for Connor, and I feel like Connor is caught between like several rocks and hard places, and it was neat seeing Connor at like his workplace and navigating like his identity and his obligations to his family, and then also navigating like his past relationship with Thomas and what that looks like now, and they haven't quite gotten to a place of resolving it yet. It's just like really awkward, and I can't wait to see Connor bring Thomas along to like the EULA meeting. I think that'll be really interesting. And I have so many stats for Sarah. Like that was so great watching like Liam like yeah find like I guess ironically find his voice in this chapter with sort of support from like the ULA, and like looking into like yeah, exploring that side of the like politics more. I had a fun time sort of playing the antagonist side between Liam and Connor in that sort of fairground scene. That was really sweet, and I loved that scene a lot. And I also loved just being able to step back and like watch the two of you talk at each other. I think like that was spectacular, and all those conversations were very feely. And again, I wish we had so many more sessions of this game. So I feel like we could. I was like, oh, like 4 hours, 2 chapters every 2 hours. That's plenty of time, but like I could easily do 4 hours of each chapter. Which I think kind of leads me to my wishes. My wishes for myself are forcing you guys to have more scenes together, or at least like being better at sort of like putting situations together where you're all like engaging as PCs. I think I have some good ideas how to do that next time. Beyond just saying like you have to have scenes with each other. And I think like I'm gonna try to get the pacing like I really like an indulgent pace. I know that some of the scenes like dragged out for a bit longer than perhaps was necessary, so I'm gonna try and just like keep more of a mindset on timing for each scene and giving them space to breathe, but then also cutting them when they need to be cut and being a bit more directive, like be that editor of the novel who's like, this is super purple prosy. You need to like cut that stuff and make it more dynamic and use these verbs here and stuff. Anyway, yeah, I think my wish is second, like having some more character stuff, and driving more of like the ULA politics for sure. I think that'll be super interesting in a way to sort of just put it in there and then step back and like watch all of our characters go off at each other. And yeah, I think mechanics wise, yeah, every now and then, like we go to the moves, and I'm like, oh, this feels like it's burdening the scene more than it's like helping the scene. And I think part of that is just because I read this document every day before we start playing. I'm like, oh yeah, I get this. And then like we go to do it, I'm like, oh, I don't get this. I'm like, so I'm sure part of it's on me for just having absorbed like all of the rules. But I think it's feel like there are some moments where we go to the conflict that I just like is a little bit like interruptive of the scene's flow, and I feel like I'm missing Good Society because in terms of both pacing out each chapter, using this like resolve tokens as like a quick like dirty, hey, I'll give you a token if you do this thing that's gonna hurt you, and then going, yeah, I'll take that token, and that's the negotiation process. Anyway, I'm rambling now. But those are my wishes. Get better at the rules, throw characters at each other, and hopefully find some kind of conclusion. Get to chapter 5 by the end of the next episode. So I will. Oh yes, Sarah.
Oh, just what chapter are we in now?
Oh, we're starting we'll start chapter 3 next time. So hopefully an hour-ish per chapter is enough. We'll just have to I'll be conscious of the timing. I will stop the broadcast now. Chris Gray. Christopher Gray, thank you for making this game. I had a lot of fun playing it, and oh shit, I just have a lot of like feelings for all these scenes. I felt like I was watching in the flesh, and that is all of lovely people, as well as like the game. I just feel like a good, basically everything coming together, and I love it. So